I lost Graham.
No,
completely.
you did. It's on purpose.
Oh, okay. All right, you are live on the interest streams.
We are live on the interest streams. Okay, very good. Very, very good. Love it. Oh, yeah, Mel, eventually Graham's going to get here at some point.
It's sad.
You know, who knows, you know. Yeah, I'd love to see him be here eventually, but, you know, things get happen, and we tell everybody we're going to start at 8 o'clock. Well, fuck it. We got to start at 8 o'clock.
You know what?
So.
And we're only 3 minutes late, and I appreciate that.
Very good. So, funny, tonight's alcohol of choices, we're going to be drinking other beers, but I felt like I needed a beer to have with my beer.
Did Facebook change their mobile commenting? Oh.
That is hitting the spot.
Can you text Mark Zuckerberg and ask them if they changed their mobile commenting?
I would hope they'd have, but, you know, who knows? So, Mel, I mean, I guess we're going to have to just go ahead and start the show, but you ready to work with me here? I mean, you're going to just have to fill in and be the color.
All right, hold on. Let me practice my lines. Six-way parlay.
There you go. Very good.
Get fucked.
Get fucked.
How was that for an autogram?
Hold on. Let's see here. Let's see if we can find some.
You have a whole page of Grahamisms if we need it.
Bless your cotton dick. Fuck VAR. Fuck him. Fucking dumpster fire. Sam, fuck off. Mate, you're at 6s and 7s.
There we go. See?
Yeah, we don't
That's
need...
just Arsenal to a T, basically. You know, even though you're talking about Everton.
Oh, look at that, Christian. I can, on YouTube, I can see your comments with a little picture.
Ah, there we are.
So YouTube, much better than Facebook.
Well, there we are. Oh, we ready to do a show?
Let's just do it anyways.
Let's make it happen.
Welcome, everyone. My name's Brett Foote from Wisconsin, the North American Clarets Burnley supporter. You just got beat by company's big, bald head. You're now listening to the DU Football Show.
I tell you, Mel, how is it we keep finding this collection of kind of religious people that can come on our show, not say a single dirty word, and listen to us say fuck like 80 times?
Yeah, and just be okay with it.
And we'll say it one more time. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smell the Malort. Look straight in shorts. Sam Prem. Hey.
Sam Graham.
Drunkard United! Drunkard United!
Hello and welcome to the 300th episode of the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by me, common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and I'd love to say across the way from me, but I have no fucking clue where he is. My co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. I'd ask how he's doing, but he ain't fucking here. So, hey, Mel, you're on the ones and twos. How you doing today?
You know, I've had better weekends.
Yeah, you've had better weekends?
Yeah, Saturday went from so excited to just sad.
Yeah, it was kind of really, really bad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I would just...
All right. Hey, sorry, guys. My ticket didn't work. A little late. Sorry about that.
You know,
at least Arsenal delayed fucking kickoff for me. You guys just kept going, huh? Is that how it works?
Oh, no.
Jesus.
Our people, you need to settle down and stop getting so lippy. You're getting close to a booking, okay? You know, watch yourself. You're getting a little too excited there. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Absolutely. It is at DU Football Show on all the social medias. That's TwitX, tweets, Twitters, X's. What is it?
Call it whatever you want.
We're not on Threads yet, though. But Instagram, Facebook, at DU Football Show, all those. And then, of course, DUFootballShow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
Graham, I've had enough. Yellow card. You're getting booked. That's just I'm tired of the.
I wasn't trying to waste time. None of the forwards made a run. I can't throw the ball into nobody. You can't force me to waste possession, Mr. Referee.
And of course, as always, on Monday nights we stream live right here wherever you like to check it out on streaming, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all that fun stuff. Oh, there we are. And Graham, I'm glad to see you finally decided to show up.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
People in the chats were concerned.
Well, Big B wouldn't let me in because I didn't have apparently the proper documentation.
Do I need to go to a second booking? Or are you going to keep mouthing off? Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, tell everybody what we're drinking because it isn't spirits.
No, we're doing a little bit different this week. At our very fun, well-attended, and just all-around great day tailgate that we did when the summer series was at FedEx Field, our local home stadium, for all things sports.
That's what we want to call what the Commanders do? Well, sure, we'll call it sports.
Yay, sports.
One of Mel's cohorts, a Avila supporter from North Carolina, who owns a brewery, brought up a few cases of beer for us, basically to donate to the tailgate. So we promised him that we would do a rundown on those beers and what we think of them.
Yeah.
So we saved a can of each to do on the show here. So
good thing we saved a can of each
There would not have been.
there was no more
nothing left. So this is Middle James Brewing Company, and the first one we're going to start with is their sour ale that comes in at 5% by volume. This celestial brew combines raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries, resulting in an intergalactic explosion of tart and fruity goodness that will beam your taste buds to new dimensions. May all your encounters be sour.
I know I've seen this logo before. We've had their beers before this because I've definitely seen this before this guy.
This is the one we're drinking there.
Excellent. Well, let's go ahead and crack it
I
open.
will crack that open.
And then we've got 5, so we're just going to kind of intermittently do them throughout the show.
Yep.
And guy's name is Mike. He 2019, after a few years of collaborating with a brewer named Andrew. In fact, Mike won a contest, homebrew contest, to spend a day with an actual brewer. And that's how he and Andrew met and started collaborating. And he brought up his family and his wife, Lee, who is a member of our Drunkard United Football Club on Facebook, where all the, as Old Freshness says,
Kids, you want a little more?
hashtag Bants happens.
I'll take a little more.
I will definitely. I didn't want to be greedy, but that's my jam right there.
Yeah. About a third of a cup will do the trick so you can have enough,
I did drink. This is the only one I did drink on that fateful Saturday. And it was lovely on the hot day. Wasn't too heavy. Super refreshing.
Sour, not too sour.
I do wish it was a little tartar.
I'm sorry. My wife just texted me, and baby's coming.
Right, of course.
And I always think back to the memes where they say Americans will use any form of measurement besides the metric system. So it's like, that sinkhole's as big as 3 washing machines or whatever. She just sent me a text that says, the baby is as big as a bunch of Swiss chard. Like,
Refuse to say how many centimeters it is, huh?
And it says below at 18 inches, but it's just funny.
The size of Swiss chard.
It just made me think of that meme that about Americans. It's just so stupid.
I like Swiss chard. I can go for a little Swiss chard.
I like steamed Swiss chard. Not bad. You know what else I like too? Adding kale to soup. Yep.
What a range of thoughts.
I was leaving him hanging out to dry on that one.
That's
Can you believe you guys have done this 299 times before tonight?
Yeah, I know. You would think this was the episode number 1 for our fucking dumbasses.
It does not show.
Yeah, I get the blueberry, I get the raspberry, and it's blackberry. It's a lovely little mix of dark berry. Like you said, maybe a touch more sour, but it's a really lovely drinkable beer.
Oh yeah,
5%.
for sure.
I'm already almost done with my.
Yeah, it's delicious. I also would like it to be a bit more tart. I understand why I didn't go for that, but the I'm almost a little surprised that I didn't read any vanilla or lactose, because I'm not getting that acid that I normally get off of straight sours.
Yeah.
And I wonder why that is, but it's because did not say anything about lactose or vanilla. But
There's no lactose or vanilla to it at all.
It is quality. It's nice and refreshing, nice and fruity. It's perfectly drinkable, crushable sour.
Cool. Well, we'll have the peach sour here in a few minutes, too, once you guys are done with those. Graham, you just go ahead and pull a beer whenever the hell you like. And
that sounds good.
We'll just go ahead and talk about them while we're doing it. So, kids, let's have a great show.
That's not going to make a noise, is it?
Well, you do have a...
Clink.
You do have a beer bottle there. There you go. Nicely done. Do you not want to cheers me? Like, fuck you, Houston? Is that how this rolls now? Done 300 of these with you? You can fuck yourself now?
Yeah, I'm over it. Fucking over it.
Why am I not surprised by that at all? We go ahead and start the conversation here. We're damn near close to 50 fucking bookings that happened this weekend.
You know what else I like to put in soup?
Yeah, what's
I'm
that?
just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just fucking with you.
Fucking everybody seemed to get a yellow card this weekend, including all the fucking coaches and Pep.
Even Pep got one, which is strange.
And yet somehow Klopp managed to keep his mouth shut. I guess he just knew, like, if I
Yeah,
look
but
at him
Arteta
funny,
got
I'm
one
getting
for. Oh no, I think Arteta's was for doing a fake card motion. But Klopp fell out of his technical area and rolled around on the ground like a little bitch.
Yeah,
but he just failed to get one. I don't
anything that isn't him yelling, I guess, is what he's trying to do. So now it's going to be over exaggerated movements from Klopp is going to be the new thing. But that would then mean all 10 games would be in the first fucking segment, and we break up the way we do things. So let's go ahead and chat about the newly promoted side, which none of them achieved a point. Man City 3, Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1, Sheffield 0, Brighton 4, Luton Town 1. Holland with a brace, and that first goal was 4 consecutive one-touch passes to then be finished by Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
It was nasty.
It was nasty. And what an instinctual finish it was. I mean, the way he got on the end of it was he's just on another level, man. There's just no two ways about it. Just picked up right where he left off, 6 games before the end of the season. Because remember, he was in a little bit of a goal drought.
Yes, he was. Well, you think about that, and then you look at that second goal that he had. He was in front of the ball. He somehow managed to maneuver himself back enough to get the foot over top of the ball to then hit it just under the post and into the fucking net.
Yeah.
Like, just the core and balance that took
For such a big lad as well.
Insane.
We normally see that from smaller players. They have such a lower center of gravity.
Yeah.
But he's amazing. Yeah. He's just the best striker on the planet, period.
Now, let's not make
but that finish was fucking amazing. And then how smart the layoff was to tee him up in that manner was brilliant as well.
Yep. Absolutely the case. And you learn that if you give that guy anything more than a foot of room, he's going to make you pay. He's going to put the ball in the back of the net.
Big time.
Now, that's not to go without saying that Claret's held their fucking own, man.
Yeah, they played some decent football here and there. They had City pinned back for about 6 minutes or so. At one point, they really applied some pressure, but couldn't find a finishing touch. And ultimately, City dealt with everything relatively comfortably.
I mean, this was a professional win for City.
But now City also weren't necessarily fully at the races either. There was a couple bits of sloppy passing, a few kind of mistakes, if you want to call it that, in defense. That they did have to recover from, but they recovered well, and I mean that's going to happen. Everybody's human, but there's also I'm going to pepper in a few D-backs throughout the show because there's just far too many to do all at once.
Was a lot.
Rico Lewis, the City left back, went down in the corner relatively early in the match, I believe, and got hit in the head with a green lighter.
Yeah,
Somebody threw at his head. What are you doing? Apparently, it took them about 15 minutes, but they, with the CCTV footage and everything else, figured out who threw it, and the fan was detained and removed from the ground by police. And I'm sure we'll be receiving some sort of lifetime ban and all that sort of stuff.
I do love the daftness of these people to think that now that there is a camera system on the field that can pinpoint to a very tight location for offsides or penalties or fouls, that there aren't cameras on them that can't pinpoint exactly the stupid shit that they're doing.
Well, and famously, England is the most surveilled country on the planet.
Yes.
With CCTV footage.
Right.
Like, there's cameras fucking everywhere.
Everywhere. And you're just like,
It's
no.
bonkers to me.
Watch this, mate. I'm going to get away with this one. My team just got promoted, and I'm going to never watch another Premier League match here again because I'm going to get fucking banned.
Just fucking stupid, man.
Idiocy.
It's stupid.
What I kind of wanted to say more so about Burnley is that they played the style of football they wanted to play. They played out of the back. They were not intimidated by...
And most of it came off. There were those 2 mistakes, really, and then one moment of Erling Haaland brilliance, and that was, I mean, that's told the entire story, basically.
And even in the second half, they kept it going, you know? And now I wonder for them, is it the teams that play like them that are going to give them troubles, or is it going to be the teams that pack it in and go... You know, I'm starting to wonder if their hard opponents aren't going to necessarily be like, yes, Liverpool's very good, but when Liverpool plays heavy metal football, that might play into what Vincent's company wants to play.
Yeah.
You know, whereas...
Well, we saw a few times, which we will talk about in their game, their defense looks shaky as shit still.
Oh, God, yes. God, yes.
I mean, there was a couple of times that Chelsea forwards made it look like Liverpool, you know, like they were Moses and Liverpool was the Red Sea.
Yeah, very
you know
true.
What I mean, they were waltzing through the middle in a lot of cases.
You're not wrong. Now, I did find this one very, very funny. The man gets 9 touches on the ball. 2 of them are goals on 1-touch hits. He's walking off the pitch.
At halftime, you mean?
Yeah, at halftime. And Pep is following him, yelling at him, giving him the riot act. The camera's in his face. Pep pushes the camera out of the way to then follow him and to continue to get, like, is he supposed to solve world hunger during the match?
Yeah,
or
no, that's
come
Marcus
up with
Rashford's job.
The cure for cancer? Like, what? Pep, by definition, man did what you wanted him to do. He put the ball in the back of the net a couple times.
Well, you know what the problem is Nathan Redmond wasn't on the field for him to be coaching.
Yeah, he needed someone to
He
coach.
needed somebody to coach, and Holland was probably just the closest person. Because we all remember when he went after Nathan Redmond as a Southampton player, and then he came out in the post-match. It was like, he's one of the best players I've ever seen. Too bad he's 30 or whatever. It's like, what are you on about? It's like just such a weird thing to give a shit about.
Nerd.
And then
He's
last
such
year,
a nerd.
last season, remember, he went on and on about Tim Ream. It was like, it's a shame he's 35.
Yeah.
Or when Tim Ream was like, I'm 33. Such a weird thing.
So, and the funny part was, is you were talking about with me off mic in the presser, Holland was like, yeah, I'm good with it.
Oh, yeah. So in the post-match, he's standing at the desk with everybody, and they were like, you know, winning a treble, you know, there was some lulls in this game as well. Do you guys still have the same hunger? And what's it like working for Pep and all that kind of stuff? And he was like, I mean, I think you can see the hunger in Pep. I mean, I scored 2 goals. I do this, that, and, you know, he still yells at me, and he goes, I like this very much. And it's just like, okay, he's just a glutton for punishment. Yeah. But he was like, I think that shows the hunger. I think that shows that we're still here. We mean business. We want to improve. I can still improve. And, you know, but still going like, we're just taking it a game at a time. I mean, the kid's got a good head on his shoulders. For sure.
Erling Haaland, sadist.
Yeah.
You know what is also a sadist? Anyone who decided to watch Crystal Palace in Sheffield United, the Blades, that was a drug. That was, you know what? That's the wise old owl doing what the wise old owl's going to do.
But the crazy bit about it, I mean, I'm looking at the stats. I didn't see this game in particular, but I'm looking at the stats here, and almost 70% of the ball for Palace, 24 total shots. But wasteful as all get us, they only put 8 on target.
They also had a couple called back for offsides as well. So they had this game should have been a lot bigger than 1-0. But I have a feeling we get boy.
Sorry,
keeping you excited here. It's been 300 episodes, Sam. Are we boring you that much
I'm
already?
fucking tired, man. The amount of content we put out.
That's how bad the game was.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's my hard-hitting analysis.
Spot on right there. Absolutely.
We were sitting next to the Scotsman in the bar that was watching Palace and spent the whole time talking because, well,
There's nothing happening. Yeah.
And that's kind of so Fotheringham for Sheffield ends up having 7 saves, and that's really about the only good thing we saw from them. It's like,
What a name, by the way.
yeah, Fotheringham.
Are we gonna gloss over that?
Yeah,
Fotheringham?
yeah, pretty great.
That's brilliant. It sounds like a shit town.
Yeah. Where you
Fodder?
from? Fotheringham.
Fotheringham. That's a pun, Sam.
Yes, I get that. I was drinking a beer, Sam. But suddenly he's lively, and I got to pay attention. But I'm talking, and he's fucking yawning.
They got a couple of good names throughout this team. One of the defenders, Ahmedžić. You're gonna have a joy with this, bud. I can't wait to get you drunk for this.
Now, here's my question for you, Sam. If this is the Blades' first foot forward, there's got to be cause for concern already, right?
Big time.
Like, that's just not
time.
good. I get it. Like,
I mean, Palace are a bit more expansive under Hodgson than they were under Vieira for whatever reason. I don't know how or why that happened.
and they have a very good defense and a very good midfield, and most of it's returned, and they all know how to play with each other. So on a defensive side of the ball, there's not going to be room. They're going to make it tough on you, but you got to show something. And they showed fuck all.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah.
Let's get another one of those beers before we get into
right.
Brighton and Luton. Or dare I say, Luton playing...
Get my way downtown, walking fast. I'm a seagull, go fuck yourself. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
All right, so this is the peach.
you have another cup, Sam. You have fresh cup, so you're okay there.
I'm just like chugging, bro.
Just chugging, bro. That's how we're rolling. Do I need you to get to a funnel? Are you going to start shotgunning tonight? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, why not?
I'm sorry, beer.
That's what I didn't expect to do, was shotgun a beer with an Englishman in an American tailgate.
That was pretty fucking
That was
fabulous.
pretty good.
I wish I'd had video of that.
Yeah, me too. It was pretty fun.
There you are, Mel. You can have the rest.
I'm just going to drink from the
So
can.
Brighton, what a game. Once they finally got going, Luton held their own for a while. I was actually quite impressed with them overall. 33 minutes it took or so for Brighton to make the breakthrough.
Yep, Solly Marsh.
Now, once they did, they really grabbed hold of the game and took possession over. I mean, they had roughly, almost exactly 70% possession in this game. But Luton gave it their all. I mean, they were fighting, and Pelly Ruddock Mpanzu became the officially first person to represent a club in all 5 leagues, from
It's
non-league all the way up
very
to
cool that he got
to the
put
Premier
that
League.
in the
Yeah,
match.
which is pretty good. Celebrated it by fucking up big time.
Yeah, he did. Now, here's a thought for you. While I was watching that match, you know what it gave me the vibes of? FA Cup third round.
Yeah, I can
You know,
understand that.
Where a team just goes, we're going to pack it in and hope that we get a point, or maybe we get the replay. The problem is there's no replays.
No,
and it
No,
just
there's 37 more of these.
Right.
You should probably try to come out of your own penalty area
and,
at some point.
And let's face it, they're not even playing next week because the stadium's not ready.
Right.
Like there's only
it's
9
tough.
matches next week. This is going to go very wrong very quickly for them if they don't figure out something other than let's just sit back and hope they don't score. Like it's not going to go well for them. Hey, Mel, why
time.
don't you tell us a little bit about the
What's the
peach
alcohol
sour?
content on that? I didn't read it out before I handed it to you.
It is 5%.
Uh-oh.
So this is described as a peach sour beer that defines the boundaries of flavor exploration. This interstellar brew blends the tangy embrace of sour notes with the vibrant essence of peach flavor. Do not fear, we come in peace.
This has got a little more sour to it, and this does taste like it might have a little lactose to it as well because it has a little bit of a cream as well.
It doesn't.
Okay. It tastes like it does have something.
Again, very
what she said.
refreshing, wonderful on a hot day. I think the description oversells the flavor profile.
Could be a little more sour.
Vibrant is not a word I would use to describe the flavors of this, but that's not bad. It's just very soft, very smooth.
It's a bit more subtle.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the can art, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to compare it to a footballer, it's like Phil Neville talks.
Yeah.
It's like a whisper of peach.
But the peach is excellent. I normally don't go for peach flavors, and the peach is nice and soft and very accurate on that one.
Big thing for the Seagulls, by the way. 4 separate scores, which is good to
Hey,
see.
by the way, we're done with your fucking beer review, all right?
We can still talk about the beer. I'm just kind of bringing it in, kind of doing my thing,
Okay, we're all on your schedule, I guess, huh? Is that it?
Okay, we've been doing this now for 300 of these, and what we've discovered is that I drive the fucking bus, asshole.
There it is. We got to bring it. We're playing the hits here. Okay,
Yeah.
if we don't. If Vane doesn't make an appearance, then do we even do a show?
Yeah, that's true. What? That's what you all live for. I had heart surgery, you fuckers, and you're still trying to kill me.
You sons of bitches. I set up press releases. Take this shit seriously.
Now, Sam, kind of taking a look at these 3 teams, I think from the first week, we are kind of already seeing what we thought, which was Burnley's going to play a certain way, which will be attractive. It will get them got at times.
I think they'll be safe though.
First thought, yes.
Out of the 3 performances, I think Burnley's the safest bet.
I saw nothing that instilled any confidence at all whatsoever with Sheffield or Luton. Now, Luton could be tough as nails to play at home. It could be a very different scenario.
We'll have to see because we can't see yet.
Well, and we saw how that helped Forest greatly. Forest honestly stayed up last year because they won at home.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. They did not, they were a fortress, and that was really big. Yeah, I got to tell you, I was not impressed with 2 of these 3 sides, and I thought Burnley held their own, but Burnley's going to get got a lot when they play this way. That's for sure.
Yeah, they definitely could, especially by those at the top end of the league. I mean, against Brighton, I think they'll get picked off. Against us, I think they'll get picked off. We saw flashes of it from Tottenham a little bit. Chelsea counterattacked well as well, surprisingly. I think that could be a thing. But one very, very funny thing that I heard someone say on another podcast was Mpanzu and the couple of mistakes he made. They said he's putting on display every level he's played at. So this was the non-league display. So next game they play, he's going to play like a League 2 defender. And then finally, the 5th game of the season, he's going to be a Premier League boy.
Well, I can tell you one other thing. We're about to talk about in the next segment, someone who really got.
Oh, yeah.
2 clubs with a lot of expectations. One had a dream opener, the other a complete nightmare. Newcastle 5, Aston Villa 1.
What a bad day at the office.
Oh. Well, look at the positives right off the jump. New signings, both score for both sides. Both those 2 players in particular, you went, oh, that is exactly the midfield that they've been missing. Is like, oh, Bruno Guimaraes really needed. Is it Tilia, the Italian? Yeah, oh, now Guimaraes doesn't have 2 people
to do
covering
everything.
him.
Yeah,
this guy's gonna get some shit done. And then Diaby just stone cold, one touch, boom, back in the net. How you doing? Right place, right time. You're like, all right, we're gonna be
arrived
okay.
in the box perfectly. It was well done.
And Villa had already lost Emi Buendia, and it's been reported that he's going to be out for an entire season. You're like, fuck, that means.
And he came on big time at the end of last season. He was crucial for them in that late run that they had to secure the European place.
And you have.
Are you in mourning?
Yes.
You have
yes,
Coutinho,
I got the black armband and the veil, and continue.
You have Coutinho, and Coutinho. I think the plan for Emi was Coutinho is perfect to play in Europe. He's a European continent style player. That's going to be great. He's going to offer something really awesome in the McRib Cup. Buendia is going to be our guy in the league.
Yeah.
And you don't have him. And now you have to play Coutinho all the fucking time.
Yeah.
and then it goes from bad to worse. As I got to tell you, when I'm glad they only showed it once, but when Ming's leg hits the ground,
We all knew.
and when you watch a leg hit the ground and not move at all,
Oh, yeah.
and the player go down, you're like, oh, he just fucked up everything in his knee. There ain't nothing. Like, all the tendons, they all just fuck you. You could tell that's exactly what happened.
Big time. Absolutely. It's just such a shame because, again, another player that at the end of last season, as they were solidifying that place and chasing that place, was fucking massive for Villa. And
He's a team captain, for fuck's sakes. He's one of their most important players on the pitch.
As Mel said in her Facebook post about it today, you never want to see that for anybody anyway, for any player to go down injured in that manner. But just how important he was, what a nice guy he was, because they met him.
Yeah.
They spent time with him. He came over and found them in the crowd, chatted the whole time, everything. And for him he was sobbing on the stretcher because he knew. Athletes know.
In a flash, everything. His Europe, everything he's worked for, everything he's been training for, and his career might have just gone in one
The career
second.
it's entirely possible. He
he's in
comes
his-
back and is not the same player he was.
Well, he's also 31, so like,
Is he that old already?
He's an older guy,
Wow.
so he ain't he's not wearing a Three Lions jersey again.
Yeah.
It's over.
That's the other thing. That's it's tragic. It's tragic. The team Villa will be fine. I have all faith that Unai will figure something out. We still have time in the transfer window. There's room to make adjustments. That's the only blessing from this.
And there's depth. Unai went out and got depth. So
Well,
there was competition for Ings' place. So it's not like there's not bodies there, but there's something to be said about the guy who's been carrying the line for that long. It's a security blanket. That's a very,
100%. There's also a problem because he's planned for a certain rotation. I'm sure he's planned for a certain way to do things, and that all just got blown. So do we just roll what we got and? There's now 3 center backs just have to rotate between themselves, or do we panic buy? There's.
I don't think Unai panics on anything.
Because he's a vampire.
That man is not a panicker. Now, my heart's not. I'm not worried about the team. I'm worried for Mings. My heart breaks for Mings, the human being. He is one of the best people out there, and it just sucks so much.
Your
Give me
veil.
my-
Your
Kind of
veil's
sucks
rubbing
that the
against your
veil's rubbing
mic.
against the microphone.
Give me my shot.
I was going to say, because we haven't even gotten to the rest of it, because
Newcastle were excellent.
after that...
Oh, no, we're done. Move on. Next game.
After that,
Next game.
Mel, may I steal a phrase? Newcastle fucked.
Oh, big time.
Oh my
time.
God.
Big time.
Nobody knew what they were
looked
doing. Everything fell apart.
Well,
Insane.
in the immediate aftermath of the injury and him going off, I thought Villa organized themselves relatively well. Now, Newcastle were on top, but Villa were dealing with everything for the most part. Now Newcastle were well and truly on top in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely true. 17 shots. I mean, Villa did have 16 shots, but Newcastle put 13 of their 17 on target. Villa just 6.
And Emmy came up with a couple of fucking darlings in the first half to keep them in it.
And, it
And
got
Emmy
really,
was up to
really
his
wild.
old Emmy was up to his old antics. He could have been sent off for that.
Why? Oh, we got away with it. We started cheering that in the bar. We got away with it. We got away with it.
You know why I think
They're
he
just
didn't...
patting him on the head.
Do you know why? I thought it was like a single finger on the cheek. I thought he brushed him like it went, no, Almiron, you calm down. You
fucking
settle
weird,
down,
man.
you.
It was fucking weird.
It was a loving embrace.
It
that's for
made me
damn
uncomfortable, to be honest.
Sure. Oh, is that like how we do our videos for
I didn't
our
care for it.
Patreon people? Do that kind of thing.
I thought it crossed the line there.
Hey, Sam, so somebody want to find Patreon, how would they go about doing that?
Right as I take a drink. Patreon.com/D Football Show.
I like to try and throw them up to you.
Thank
You need
you.
to be ready for that. When I mention the word Patreon, you got to figure it's coming, whore. Got to be ready to dance, monkey dance.
Right.
It just...
But the floodgates eventually open. I mean, those last 3 goals came at... I don't like the new way they did this. 58, 77, and 90 plus 1.
Yeah.
So it was like about 10, 15 minutes apart each time. It's not a good look.
I think what Emery's got to be upset about is the fact that you let those last two go in, right? Okay, it's 3-1. You're in St. James Park. You're not going to get the win. Tighten it up. Walk out 3-1. Like, don't walk out 5-1. That could have been 6 or 7-1 because there was more chances as the game went on. I do think now players are obviously going to get used to this. There's going to be less time wasting and things of that nature. And why aren't we surprised that the Newcastle match had a ton of fucking time added on to the end of the game? The first half, we understand. Major injury, that's why there was time added on. But the second half, ton of time added on. I think those players are going to eventually learn that this shit ain't going away. So stop with the fuckery and don't delay as much because that's going to hurt you in the end. But I also saw a lot of this weekend. It felt like teams that were already losing, reserved to losing, they get 12 minutes in, like, this is the prime example. They get like 12 minutes put on to the end of the game. They're just like, fuck it. It's like, you're like, oh,
I quit.
You gotta see that one out because goal differential means fucking something.
Oh yeah, Eddie Howe also.
that.
Eddie Howe also, I think, has figured out Callum Wilson's cheat code.
Oh yeah,
Super sub.
oh yeah.
Because he was one that would constantly get hurt. His hamstrings are like made of fucking paper. And, like Daniel Sturridge, a player gone by that spent a ton of time injured, could have used with a career as a super sub as opposed to a starter. But Isak, starts a game, 2 goals, and then in comes Callum Wilson, as is customary. We saw most of last season as well. In comes Callum Wilson, goal a game, off the bench. It's fucking awesome for him.
Sneaky deep team Newcastle has.
No, that's Unai Emery.
Yeah, exactly.
The butler from Mr. Deeds.
Also,
niggas, sir.
Also, what
he
we
looks just like him. Google him. I promise you.
What we also have to do before we have Mel do her shot, it was a chippy fucking match. That game had almost 10 yellow cards in
I know.
It
That's
was.
part of the reason. So the Premier League app, this is what I was saying. I don't like the new way they're doing the score sheet. It's hard to see everything because it's all spaced out and you can scroll it now. And it's annoying. But there's so many cards.
Just all
4 for Newcastle, 4 for each team.
Yeah, so eight fucking yellow
nuts.
cards. All right, producer Mel, you get to close out the segment with your lovely shot of Malort.
God, I don't know what hurt worse, Mings' injury or 5-1, but fuck off, up the Villa.
And to start off the second half of the show, we have another beer.
Excellent. Why don't we all pour and then you talk about the beer after that? But I'll go ahead and start chatting, rounding out the rest of the league. And so that happened. Arsenal 2, Forest 1, Bournemouth 1, West Ham 1, Fulham 1, Everton 0, Brentford 2, Tottenham 2, Chelsea 1, Liverpool 1, Manchester United 1, Wolverhampton 0. As Mr. Graham is pouring currently. I will say
the pale ale aptly named Hops FC.
Yep, this is the one for their club down there, the Charlestown FC team down there.
Races and slots.
Yes. Mike,
JK.
that owns this company, is friends and an investor in the Charleston FC, and Hitch owns that team and also owns Indianapolis.
Indianapolis Blues, yep.
And this
5.2% by volume, this one.
Okay.
And this is one I had a couple of at the tailgate. And as you know, my propensity is more towards a cheap, drinkable beer. This doesn't have too much of a hot bite for being, a quote pale ale. It drinks really easy. And out there in the parking lot, it was a fucking crusher. Like it was easy as shit to drink. It was just an absolute slammable beer.
Yeah.
It is delicious.
And it being super cold now, it is even better.
Yeah. I like the dialed back flavors on this one because I'm just not a hophead.
Nailed it with this one. I mean, if what you're looking for is 5.2, not too high on the alcohol scale.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to
drinkable.
say. It's actually nice to not have big boozy beers for once.
Yeah.
Because everything now is anything we buy craft now is mostly 7.5 and up.
Especially
So
when
to
you start
find
getting those
something-
Dippa-Trippas type of world, they get
So
so
coming
big.
back down to right around 5 is fucking quality.
Honestly, I wonder if that's part of the reason why the craft brew industry is struggling a bit right now. Because me personally, I've stopped ordering them in bars and restaurants because the alcohol content is just too damn high.
Well, you know what else is, because it's craft and you want to try new things and see what everybody else is doing, there's absolutely next to no brand loyalty in craft beer. It's a
true.
struggle from the start.
Yeah.
And a lot of distributors are starting to figure out that they now have family deals per brewery. So instead of, this one type of beer being a 5 case drop for best price, now there's a 10 case, but you can buy any of this brewery's beer.
Right.
Because what would happen is you would sell 2.5, 3 cases and fly off the shelf, and those other 2 cases are just sat there.
And then they go to close out.
And beer, we know, is not that high of a margin. So they would just end up breaking even on everything they bought because they had to throw the beer went out of code and the small companies don't take it back. So, but no, this is freaking delicious. I love it.
And again, I appreciate.
And I love
the lower.
what they do. A couple of the cans have little quotes on them and stuff. The sours did not. This one does. It says, "Quote: Beer's proof that God loves us." End quote. Ben Franklin, probably.
Yeah.
Does it say probably on
It's
there?
in parentheses, probably.
I love that. I love that. So I open my tours with this quote, and I say, or maybe he didn't. Doesn't matter. Kind of sounds like him. Carrying on.
If for any reason they want to just magically make sure a case of that made its way up here the next time they're in the DC area,
Yeah.
we will gladly throw that in the cooler and drink that during the show because that's really good.
Yeah, definitely.
Same idea as what the Forward Brewing did for the Naptown for the Annapolis Blues, the Keeper's Kolsch, just drinkable, little bit of backbone to let you know you're drinking a craft beer, but
That's
not
a
anything
good
over the
tailgating
top.
beer.
Well,
That's
it's like
a real
what
good
Key
tailgating
Brewing
beer.
did with that All Days Off for Christos was excellent. Was a very good Mexican style lager, almost like a Corona or Modelo type of beer.
Well, I think they said they went for the actual idea was to make it taste like a Sol because
Sol is sponsoring them. Yeah,
and Christos just sells a ton of fucking Sol, and everybody drinks Sol, and that's kind of like their go-to beer. So yeah, with that All Days Off, that was kind of the idea. It was pretty.
But that was also
brilliant.
very well done.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the action of everything else. Your boys came out swinging. I mean, they look like a well-oiled professional machine. But Newcastle decided to make it a game. They weren't going nowhere.
Forrest.
I'm sorry.
Until we changed our shape. When Gabrielle got put in, there was one early scare that was squandered. Marginal offside, I think, anyway, though. So I don't know that it would have counted anyway. But they settled in well finally, and then pretty much controlled everything. My game was actually probably one of the more boring ones.
It was. I mean, that's why it's an OSO.
And then we made that substitution, and it was like so one thing you and I praised Arsenal for last season especially was Mikel Arteta's ability to change a game and change mid-game.
Right.
So he'd make a substitution, and very often those subs would make impacts and meaningful impacts into the game, right? And on the game. Gabriel impacted it negatively. It took him a while to get up to the speed of the game.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what system they switched to, but it wasn't great. And we found it difficult after that. And Forrest decided, held it together and stole a goal, but such is. But we got the 3 points. That's all that matters.
Well, for Forrest, you got to go. You know what? Awoni gets a goal. This is what we need. This is what we need this guy doing. It took him midway through the season to start putting it in because they did have 837 different strikers to choose from week to week, which made it difficult for them to find the right guy.
doubt.
But for them, their success really is going to be centered around a guy like Awoni being a 15 to 18 goal scorer.
Yeah.
And that is not out of the question. He can absolutely do it. He was, the number 2 or number 3 goal scorer when he was over in Germany?
Yeah.
Before he came here? He's very capable of doing it, and for them, that's a great thing to see. And I think as a whole, the big positive for Forrest is there's definite stability to this squad.
Yes.
And you saw that at the end of last year, and you're kind of hoping for them as fans, like Mark had said a few last week, just kind of comfortably 13th.
Yeah.
And you feel like first impression, that's exactly what that team looks like. They're going to have some tough times in the start
100%.
of the season, and their start of the season, 4 of their first 6 are for the big 6.
Yep.
So expect them to be bottom of the table after the first 6 matches. The key thing.
No, after what Luton did, that goal difference will mean something.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're going to be near. They're going to be in a relegation spot. As fans, don't overreact.
I wouldn't panic yet.
Cooper's got the ship. Don't get fucking crazy. It'll be okay. Yeah, Mel's taken about 45 fucking pictures of herself.
You know, it's distasteful to take selfies at a funeral. Because I got another knee that bit the dust
You two can carry on.
in my game.
You two can carry on.
Jurriën Timber, new signing from Ajax.
Yes.
Likely out for the season.
Jesus.
Because his ACL no want to play.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Requiring surgery is the rumor, and I haven't seen a confirmed report about it, but did not look great. You know, that 27 or 37 million or whatever it was we spent on him, you know, there's a joke in there somewhere about Timber and him falling foul, but I don't know.
Right.
I'm not going to say it. It's rude.
Outside of that, you're just your first impressions of your team this season. You're
Comfortable. I don't like that what I just said about the injury, of course, but about the way we changed our shape. That doesn't fill me with confidence. That, you know, if we need something different or a plan B, we don't necessarily have it. I think part of that is going to be betting in new players still and all that kind of stuff. And you may see us gain a little bit of momentum and efficiency. You know, but getting Gabriel Jesus back in about a month's time will be huge. And, you know, it's just very unfortunate for Timber that this happened.
I look at your team and I wonder if Martinelli and Saka may very well be the best wingers in all of Europe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
the assist.
The two of them.
And I totally think he meant that, by the way.
Stupid good.
The assist to Nketiah, I absolutely believe he meant that. Now, I don't know that he meant it necessarily to be a pass. I think he wanted to get on the end of it, but it was a lovely skill, and he fully intended to drag back, spin it, through both players. I think now he wanted to split them and get onto it. He overhit it a touch, but it fell right to Nketiah and he put it away. It's the assist of the weekend. And Saka's goal was easily for me the goal of the weekend.
Saka's
fucking
goal,
brilliant.
Saka's goal. I don't. Bowen's for West Ham was real fuck good. The one he put up in the '90s. There was it was that one.
I've heard people refer to him today as Arjen Bowen, and the same thing with Bukayo Saka as well, calling him Arjen Saka because it's like a cheat code. You know he's going to do it, but you can't stop it. And it's those two left-footed right wingers that cut inside on their left foot, and you know it's coming, and they fuck you every time.
I saw him make that cut in, and I was saying aloud to the TV, I was like, don't let him, don't goal. He was like, and they stepped off, like, no, you can't step.
When Saka cut in, I just went like this. I just knew. I was like, yes, here it comes.
He was outside the box. You're probably better suited. Just foul the fucker and let him have a free kick.
Also, thank you for, I think it was about 17 million. Thank you for that, Nottingham Forest, for Matt Turner. Appreciate that. And what a hell of a piece of business that was.
I don't
turned
really
a profit on him, and he shipped us 2 goals.
I don't really think, I don't put it on him. I thought he
inside agent.
Yeah, I thought he played it well.
Nketiah's was deflected.
Yeah, exactly.
And Saka's was world class. Yeah, you just can't beat it.
Moving on to Bournemouth and West Ham. Cherries need a late equalizer despite just dominating the fucking stats of the game.
Yeah, it was
but also
pretty amazing. Well, West Ham had 16 total shots, only 3 on target. Bournemouth had 14 shots, 5 on target, but they had 63% of the ball.
But this is also a Moyes team, and this is what we expect a Moyes team to do. A Moyes team's going to let you hold possession if you want to, especially when you're in their building. Like, you'll go ahead and let them have fucking possession.
What a Scottish outview on things.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a professional footballer? Yes, absolutely. Do you want to actually play the game? No, not at all. I want them to have the ball. I want to touch it as little as fucking possible.
you know what you're sounding like? Robin Williams describing the golf. No, fuck no! I'm gonna put the whole fucking 500 yards away.
I'm gonna hit a ball with into a gopher hole. That's what it was.
I'm gonna hit a.
With a string stick like pool. No, fuck pool. It's a little fucked up stick. Like croquet. No,
not a big head, a little tiny head. You gotta hit it with.
And we put the whole hundreds of yards away.
I just hear, oh fuck no! Do you want to play football? Ah, fuck no!
And
we just gonna put it all behind the ball.
And we put shit in the way.
Fucking brilliant.
and then I put a lake and sand to eat your ball again.
I would say there really wasn't much in this. For the Cherries, positive, Solanke gets you a goal. They're kind of, you need Solanke and Billing to keep doing what Solanke and Billing did last year. And that is a lot of what your team is going to be centered around.
I'm very surprised after what O'Neill did when he took charge of the team that they let him go this summer.
Yeah,
I was quite
very
surprised.
Well,
to be honest with you,
he looked pretty good on the sidelines in the game we're going to finish with. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, he did, and I wonder if they missed a trick here. Honestly.
Now, moving on. I mean, there's really not much. It was not a very attractive game to watch. Moving on, Fulham score on their first shot on fucking target in a game that Everton
That won me $133.
absolutely dominated. The problem was Everton couldn't put the ball in the fucking net, which also prompted, I assume, another D-back situation you're going to probably talk about.
That's the one I'm going to save for last.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good. I can handle that then. Here, I'll take it. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Showing off the next beer.
This is the hazy IPA that we just opened from them.
New England style
I
hazy.
think it said 6.2. Is that correct?
6.7. So this one's getting up there.
Ooh.
So we're getting up there now.
I'm just going to take a little bit of this one.
Okay. Well, then pass it back over to Graham. He'll have some more.
Goddamn right I will.
You're talking Graham's
today,
language.
After today, I'm not drinking till the party.
Oh, okay. There you go. Taking the rest of the week off.
Unless I need to do it professionally for work.
Hurt. Well,
I do have some stores that want to taste things with me because they want to know what I think about it.
That's fair.
So I don't have to do that. But
Yeah. New
This
England
is-
hazy.
yeah, I'm gonna see if they got a quote on this one.
Little juicy. Piney on the back end.
Yeah, no quote on this one. Damn it.
Yeah. This is a New England hazy. This is exactly what it should fucking taste like.
Now this one I had a couple of because that haze, that kind of juiciness, is very refreshing to me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So I
definitely.
had a
out in
couple
that
of these
that
at the
parking lot.
tailgate.
That
It's
was
delicious. I really like it. I like the fact that it's not too juicy. Also, that it still sticks to the New England style that has that kind of rind finish. You know, and the hop still, the kind of hop backbone is still present, and some hazies lose that.
Now,
It's balanced yet refreshing.
Yeah.
I think a few people with the Everton match are going to feel like they were hard done with Jared Leno going over top of Tarkovsky and basically knocking the ball off of his chest while Tarkovsky didn't move at all.
Bird Leno.
Yeah,
What is
Bird
with
Leno.
you and names today?
Bertrand Leno.
No, his name's Bert. Burned.
Burned.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Walt.
Wolshes.
Walt.
Have some respect.
I'm going to call him now.
He's
His name is
Juventus' goalkeeper.
His name is now definitely fucking Bert from here on out officially. Now they just need to sign an Ernie, so I have a Bert and Ernie. I'll make it even better.
It's not Bert. It's Burned.
Okay, Bert.
Sake.
Actually, Leno had himself an amazing match.
No, he stood on his head.
He stood on his head, and
Bobby De Cordova-Reed did well to score that goal. I mean,
Yeah.
it was not the easiest of chances. It was pretty well done. But Bird Leno definitely got away with one not becoming a penalty, and a few,
but also I think Fulham has just as much of a fair argument to say right at the end of the game there could have been a handball called that wasn't called.
Yeah,
so
fair.
So
they also were the recipient of some poor Everton finishing.
yeah,
Kind of lucky, like Mopé's chance, the biggest chance that he had. He puts at either side of Leno, even if he puts it high. Leno's not getting to it. It's point blank.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He kicked it straight at his chest.
Yeah. If Decore early in the match doesn't take the hit and maybe just touches it, it's to a wide open Gardner who taps it in the back of the net. I don't think Mopé's going to be the starter, anymore.
Well,
I think they wanted to see they wanted to give Danjuma a little bit of a run, not a full run, and you're still kind of waiting to hear what it is with Calvert-Lewin because we've been told he's healthy. Now, he missed this match because
They couldn't get the bubble wrap off in time.
birth of a new child.
Okay.
That evening, his wife gave birth. So
I gotcha.
new child.
That
so,
evening.
yeah,
The game was at 3 p.m.
yeah. And, not everybody could be Archie. Okay. Who famously was in labor left,
Came to Soccer Dome.
scored a hat trick, went back, she gave birth.
I don't know. Most stadiums now, you know.
And I believe his answer to us was, it's the third one. I've seen
I've
two
seen
already.
Two already, yeah. I think that's what he said. The other thing I would say about that is most stadiums have like a CAT scan thing there. They have, you know, for serious injuries, you don't even have to go to the hospitals. The doctor can take care of you as long as you don't need surgery right away. Like for crazy broken legs and everything, they take you straight to the hospital. But for ligament damage and that kind of stuff, they do MRIs there at the stadium in a lot of cases, you know. X-rays, that kind of stuff, you know, little minor breaks and all, you know, they can take care of that stuff there. She couldn't have just given birth in the physio's room.
How do you think
they've got fucking cortisone?
Ask yourself this question: how do you think your wife would feel about giving birth on a trainer's table?
Listen, I can't do it on this show, can I? I was gonna say her opinion doesn't fucking matter, does it? But that's for injury time, which you can find at patreon.com.
There you go. That a boy. I'm going to go ahead and do my shot. Disappointing, very much a smash and grab for Fulham. They need to hurry up and get Adama Traore bedded in, and they're probably also likely getting Damari Gray from Everton. They were worked down the flanks by Everton. Alex Iwobi had the left-hand side of the field all fucking day long. They need to get some winger help quickly. The bones are there, but the bones are old. So you gotta. But you can see Sean Dyche's philosophies are taking hold. I'm talking about Fulham, where the bones are there, but the bones are old. They've got the talent to be a perfectly safe team, but if shit goes wrong, attitudes go the wrong way. They need to watch that. That's on a razor's edge.
And how Fulhamish of them to help you get out of financial fair play problems.
Yeah, well, and hey, we're not in the relegation zone this week. We're 15th place. Woo! Yay.
Brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant.
I believe Villa's in the relegation zone, aren't we?
They're dead last.
Dead last.
Oh, and Newcastle's on top of the league. What is happening? What fucking Twilight Zone are we living in? Get fucked.
Alan did already have his Facebook post of "We are top of the league." Said, "We are top of the league."
It won't last long, bro.
Well, you know, let him have his moment. He's excited about it. That's how it's gonna go.
If fucking Newcastle end up winning a Premier League title before Arsenal win another one, I'm gonna be livid. I'll be fucking livid.
Prepare to be livid. Anywho.
Okay.
I'm going to say everything about the game first and foremost, and then we'll get into the kind of oddness of the injury that happened. Bees have proven they can get goals. Like, they don't need Tony. Wissa and Wepu know what they're doing.
I think both of them are quite underrated.
Yeah.
They're...
Why do you think I drafted him first pick in my second round of my fantasy draft? Because the guy's going to fucking score goals.
Wissa scored a ton of goals for me last season.
Wissa and Wepu.
But Wissa last season fantasy scored me a ton of goals.
Yep,
he was guaranteed to come off the bench essentially, and was quality every time he did. And Buemo 9 goals and 8 assists last season.
Now,
by the way, like 17 goal involvements. It's that's a fucking quality contribution from a wide player.
Guy's gonna probably get 12 to 15 this year.
And took an Ivan Toney-esque penalty.
Yeah, he did.
He did a little hop thing,
and then just slotted it in the corner. Yeah. It was pretty fucking beautiful.
Also, best beard in the Premier League. And Buemo.
Well, and also the children wept because Son got called for a VAR. After the play went all the way down the field and completed, and then they went, let's bring it on back and take a look at that one.
Yeah.
The first goal that gets scored is Sergio Romero, and he immediately goes out, but it's because right at the start of the game, there's a head-to-head collision with him, and I want to say it was Janelt, but I'm not positive, for Brentford.
I think that's right.
And the two of them collide, and they go through the concussion protocols, and it seems like he's okay, right? It seems like he's going to be fine, right? And then he scores the goal, and after he scores the goal, like you could kind of see him like he was kind of already walking to the side, like how like a drunk person will be like, you're like, Oh, go so good, that header for Mr. Romero. Now, did it? That rang the old bell.
Yeah, I find it strange, especially as a center back, that if there was any concern as to what was going on, that they would let him get in anyway, because I would argue probably more than half of his job is heading balls out, whether it's defending corners, long balls, goal kicks. Like, more than half of his job is heading the ball, going up offensively, as we saw here. So if if it's a pacey, like Jared Bowen type small winger, you maybe could be forgiven because that's not their job. Typically, that's not the number one job requirement. But for a center back, or for goalkeepers diving all the time and they're catching loads of whip on their necks, if they're in a concussion protocol, I'm surprised that they allowed him to continue from that point.
Yeah.
To where there could be, I don't think there will be, because it seemed like just a regular header and stuff, but you never know. There could be permanent fucking damage from that.
Yeah.
If he's in a bad way and hurts it further. And there are grades to concussions. It could be a slight, kind of tiny bruise on the brain. It could be a fucking massive traumatic brain injury as well. We saw that a lot with the Miami Dolphins quarterback in this country.
Tua,
the Tua that had fucking 4. I don't know why I went all Irish there. fucking 4 concussions, didn't he?
We know why.
In like 2 seasons. Yeah. And, his hands started going all wonky. I mean, there's neurological damage there.
Right, of course.
So for somebody who's those fuckers wear helmets. For somebody whose primary job is to head balls that are traveling at a high rate of speed and they're not soft, if he's under concussion protocol, why wouldn't you have taken him off in the first place?
Yeah, it was interesting.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Maybe it's because Spuds can't defend. I think that's going to get them a lot this season. I don't see where they're a resolute defensive side.
No.
At all, which is funny because...
And it's also quite telling that the 2 goals did come from defenders. Now, as we said earlier, Son did have one chalked off. But I thought, everybody, there's question marks, especially with Kane leaving and how demoralizing that is. Brentford's a good team. We've discussed that. They played that money ball. Everybody's quality. They're in a lot of ways, they're like Brighton, where they just find these gems. Yeah, that nobody else is really, on their radar. Now, Brighton lose them more often than Brentford do, so there's a bit more cohesiveness in that Brentford team. But I don't remember where I was going with this.
Well, you know what? That's good. We've talked enough
There's
about...
a point to that.
We've talked enough about Spurs. Let's keep it rolling. Let's get on over to...
I'm surprised just how organized they were. Postecoglou, had them going. That's not bad. And... I actually didn't mind him as a coach. I thought he was pretty good on the sidelines. I thought he was entertaining, good value for money, and the team seemed to have responded to him.
Yeah. I feel like they're a team in transition.
I thought James Madison had an excellent game as well.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to
be a huge addition for them.
Very much so. And
they're still not going to win anything.
And Richarlison's going to benefit very well from having him directly behind him, feeding him the ball. That's
absolutely.
For damn sure.
And you know what? We can all look forward to the Coys not doing anything, as Portnoy put it.
Yeah, the Coys.
Dicky. Fucking Dicky. Portnoy called him the Coys, and then I'm pretty sure Smokey shared the meme of wrestler Kane signing for Bayern Munich. And I was like, I said that it wouldn't surprise me if Portnoy thought that's who they showed, who they sold for real. Undertaker's brother.
Yeah, yes, Kane. No, he's off running a government in, like, he's a mayor somewhere.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like a mayor in North Carolina.
Tennessee, and I don't think I don't think he still is.
Yeah,
the well-trodden path of the WWE to local politics. Because didn't Jesse Ventura was the governor of Minnesota or something?
Yeah, was governor of Minnesota.
Yeah. That's weird.
Keeping it rolling.
I never saw him outside without a shirt on. He's a bald man with a beard.
Chelsea.
Tell Sean Dice probably telling Jesse Ventura he's hard out.
Chelsea, Liverpool. This was a very open match.
This deserved to be in the second segment.
Yeah,
personally, but I didn't want
disagree.
you to. I didn't want to step on your toes.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Since you already shown how much of a tyrant you are, so I didn't want. I was
entirely off. Settle down.
You tried to replace me or something.
There was no way to make those two stories tie together. That's the reason why it wasn't in the second segment.
These are good fucking games. That's not good enough?
No, that's not a good enough opener to a segment. That's not. It's not. That's why I drive the bus, and that's why you fucking color in the fucking drawings that I make for you, okay? Get back to doing color analysis, jackass. Why don't you grab me another beer?
Lentils is what I was going to say.
Okay, cool.
I don't mind lentils and soup.
Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and get me another fucking beer? And
Correction. Glenn Jacobs, a.k.a. K, is currently
Kane.
the mayor of... Yeah, Kane.
What is with y'all?
I don't know.
Okay, does he own a jewelry
Okay.
store too?
Okay. Currently the mayor of Knox County.
And now he...
Oh, you know whose deputy mayor is? Hard Knocks, Mankind. Mick Foley.
That was a good one. You can't
Yes.
lie. That was a really good
Not
one.
bad.
This game...
Keep talking shit, I'm going to get Sacco out.
Okay, honestly, guys, I really wanted this show to be under an hour. We're not done talking about the games. We're over a fucking hour. Let's keep it rolling. 300 and still going strong, baby. This was a surprisingly entertaining match. Now, I would say it felt like it was all Liverpool at first, and I would equate that a little bit to how their midfield was set up. It felt like they decided we're going with 6 attacking players and middle of the field be damned, and we're just going to pressure the shit out of you. And Chelsea had a problem with that for about the first 20 minutes. And then Chelsea figured it out and had no problem with it after that.
I want to know why they don't have a shirt sponsor. Did anybody make mention of that? That was interesting.
And they're trying to do their best. Forest, who also for the second year straight doesn't have a shirt sponsor.
They gotta fall foul of some financial fair play.
I think both of those teams are just looking at FFP and going, no.
Fuck you.
Hey, FFP, my balls.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what they're saying to him right now.
That should be their shirt sponsor. Just a picture of a sack.
Just my balls.
It's just written. Yeah. You know what? I was pleasantly surprised by this game because I was going into it with the sour taste still in my mouth from that absolutely pointless game they played on that Thursday night as we were catching up fixtures towards the end of the season. That was literally one of the most boring games of football I've ever seen in my life.
He was watching paint dry.
So this was good to see. I think Pochettino's doing pretty well organizing that team. There aren't a lot of new faces this season. JK.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a ton of new faces. And it's almost like Thiago Silva's like a concierge at a hotel, just constantly showing people around and introducing them because there's so many new people there.
Well, and it's a ton of young kids as well. Yes, producer Mel, what do you got for us?
Apparently, Chelsea does not have a shirt sponsor because they tried to get Paramount Plus to be their shirt sponsor, which would have affected a lot of streaming rights.
Considering they're on Peacock. I know initially they were going to stick with 3, but that was a betting site, and the fans were just having a fucking like shit fit over that, so they dropped them. And okay, interesting. So they wanted Paramount Plus to do it. That's like a direct spit in the face of a streaming channel that fucking covers all your games in a major fucking market.
It's an American company, as well, with an American owner.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did NBC fuck him off in some way?
Nah.
With the Dodgers or anything?
That or and it also could be Paramount Plus is trying to make a play for the Prem. That could always be the case because they do handle all the Champions League stuff currently.
I hate their search menu on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
It sucks.
Let's get to the game.
No, it was a good game. Luis Diaz opened a scoring, and then Disasi did his best.
Him. A couple of goals got called back as well for offsides.
Yep.
And a little interesting bit there towards the end of the match was Mo Salah
was all over the fucking place.
Yeah,
by the
he
way.
had himself a hell of a
Well,
match.
that made me think of it. It was one of the goals that was chalked off. He was fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
It was what a performance.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Reece James and him really probably thrive under
Big time.
Pochettino, being
100%.
able to play up the wings and kind of create and do more. And he's going to let those younger kids kind of just sit in the middle of the pitch and go, let these guys get you the ball. Now, Salah gets subbed off and no so happy about
A little
it.
hissy fit, didn't he?
Yeah, and what was even funnier was Klopp acknowledging, seeing that he was not happy with it. Klopp just drank water, let him fucking be. Like, normally Klopp's like, no, let me put my arm around you and talk to you because I'm going to make it all better, which normally makes it worse.
Yeah.
It was
It's
just
very patronizing
yeah, very.
when he does that, honestly.
Oh God, yeah, and it's intentional. It's
Yeah.
with him. It is him reminding you, I'm the
in
guy
charge.
in charge.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it's like whenever we would get our asses whooped by a team at Soccer Dome, and their players would come up to me to tell me how well I played, and it was like, yeah, I might have made fucking 20 saves, but I also gave up 10 goals. So stop telling me I'm a good keeper. Like, I feel like dog shit right now. Leave me alone.
I feel you.
But
both things can be true.
Yeah.
Like, look at Ben Foster was always excellent. We always thought he was excellent.
Yep.
Play like shit for Watford let him down. Honestly, you know what I mean. Like, he was always a quality goalkeeper.
Yeah. Now the other question here, keeping it rolling. I'm all over the place. Don't mind me. Keeping it rolling. Wolves should be happy with the effort until the very end of the game, and you have to imagine Ten Hag is not going to be happy with Manchester United's effort. This was all fucking Wolves at Old Trafford.
Yeah, big time. However, the end of the game, I'm sure this is the most important thing we're going to talk about, is that no call.
Yeah, of course.
Rafael Varane got a lucky goal, essentially. United did not deserve it. The first half was as boring as that Chelsea-Liverpool game I talked about at the end of last season. The first half was miserable. I listened to it on the radio, which made it even worse because I couldn't even fucking see anything. I had to try to have a picture painted for me of nothingness.
Yeah.
It was terrible. The best thing I could equate that first half to was an episode of Seinfeld. Nothing happened.
Wolves at least had some opportunities, but nothing from United at all. It was just
it's horrible.
And then he
Absolutely
made changes.
horrible.
He made changes and nothing really happened. Like,
Nothing changed. I don't know if it was. Did they end up going to 3 at the back instead, with the Lindelof substitution? I don't understand how they changed their shape.
They got Martinez out because he had already had a yellow early, very very early on. So
and he is a bit of a hothead.
Yeah, so they got him out.
I guess that makes sense. But it's just, I don't know. The whole thing was really strange. But I think Tim Howard said it best. Let's talk about that because that's the talking point of the game. Because the Varane header was just kind of lucky that
and
they were in that situation anyway.
And for Wolves, where I say you need to come out of this positive, it's Gary O'Neill comes in. The team seems to be paying attention. They're all ready to rock and roll, and they played well for him. And the team's got talent, and they looked good. That's the important part. But then, in extra time, Onana comes out of the goal mouth. Onana, I hear you. Then goes out of the goal mouth, goes over top of one of their attackers. Both arms, misses the ball, swipes right through, knocks him down. Definitely a foul. Without a doubt a foul. VAR doesn't even look at it.
Nope.
Gary O'Neill sees a yellow card for complaining. But like you said, you hinted at, both the Robbies at the end of the match was like, it's a foul, it's a foul. And what did Tim Howard say?
Have you ever seen it given? It, of course, is a foul. Have you ever seen it called?
No. I did that.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that call? Yeah. Have you ever seen that called?
No, because goalkeepers are afforded a bit of leeway in a lot of those cases. In 50-50s that aren't really 50-50s.
Yeah, you're going to get away with it.
Goalkeepers are rarely called for that unless you grab an armful of jersey, a handful of jersey, or you literally punch someone in the face when the ball's not there.
You're going to get away with it.
As long as the ball is making contact with the player and you punch them in the face, you're not called for that either, typically.
Right, precisely. All right, our last beer, Mr. Graham. Go ahead and talk about that, and then we'll do our final. We'll do our betting segment.
This is the American IPA, 7% by volume on this one. This is part of their flagship series, so this is the main line that's available all year round. And it's got what looks like a skull with a pilot's helmet on and a hop beard, which is pretty good.
Is this the last beer?
Uh-huh.
This is the last beer.
So one of the guys at the tailgate, and I would call him out by name if I could remember his name, but it was toward the end when we were down to the last few, and this was the last of Mike's beers to be there. And he went, he gets into that bitter hop stuff. Oh, it's so strong, I can't. What a fucking pussy. This isn't that
No,
bitter.
it's a delicious beer.
It's delicious.
This is excellent.
From the way the guy was painting it, I was expecting this to be a bite of
A
pine.
big hot bomb, big piney.
No.
It's got pine and it doesn't fucking kill
It's
you.
not astringent. No, this is delightful. This is probably my favorite of the bunch. I'm glad it
Very
was
clean
last.
and
Yeah.
drinkable. Very clean and drinkable. I said
Drunkable. He said
I like
drunkable.
drunkable.
300 episodes, people.
Man, we got a lot of names for this one, don't we?
Well, let's just get to the fucking betting.
Sure money.
It's not preseason anymore. Tighten up.
Well, the beauty is it's not going to be in the show. So I was going to be like, why is he giving her shit? Everything sounds fine.
I know all of 11 of our friends, though, are going to be mad. All right, so Sure Money, in case you are new to the show, is the segment in which we make informed quality bets.
Sam,
to
you're supposed to say
better-
that without laughing.
To better help you with your bets. Sammy, why don't you remind everybody how you did last season if you could?
I was down $1,000.
Okay. We'll talk to Pat in a moment. Our degenerate gambling friend Pat will be on shortly. I lost all 37 bets last year. I finished minus $3,700.
Yep.
It was absolutely pitiful. Attached to the Patreon is a GoFundMe for my kids' college education, by the way. So why don't we start with your bet, sir, and tell us what you have.
Well, it's a new season, and while I did better than Graham, it's time to finish in the money. So I'm going to use my tried and true system.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
I know it will work. I know it'll work. And besides, Mr. Graham, 50% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
That's not how odds work.
It's exactly how odds work. And we don't look at last year's odds.
No.
It's really how it works. It really is. I'm going to open with a four-way parlay of all favorites. Arsenal, City, Liverpool, and Chelsea all to win at plus 441.
Okay. Safety first, I guess. There you go. Not too shabby. I
gonna
also
get
went
fucked
safety
off.
first. You'll hear mine in a minute.
Excellent. Love it.
Hopefully by City, so Arsenal can be first in the Premier League. again.
Oh, there you go.
That'd be nice. Now we have our degenerate gambling friend, Pat. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good.
Do we just not play his sounder anymore?
I was waiting for it.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Hey, buddy. What's up?
We'll fix that in post, huh?
I love how he cut on to when you said, hey, buddy. He's like, oh, that's getting fixed in post.
Oh, it's so funny.
How's the summer going?
Pretty damn well. Busy, crazy. We've been doing all right. You know, how's it going in your world?
What's busy like? I don't know, busy at work. Oh, that's interesting.
So Amazon only got like 4 brands, bro. Are they just sending y'all out in like Toyota Yaris's to do
Oh, they're
some, like,
cutting
deliveries?
Routes getting cut. I'm doing other people's routes. It's crazy, man.
That
Sucks.
sucks.
But regardless, they get plenty of time to play golf and drink beer. So
There you go.
That's-
Nothing wrong with that.
The finer things in life.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Let's see what you have for betting. How'd you finish
All right.
last year? First off, I think you won everything, didn't you?
no, I finished 1,000 under. I thought I beat Sam out. I thought you were like 11 or 12, but you know.
Yeah, you beat me, and I thought you were like 800, and I was
I thought you
1,000.
were like,
but,
yeah.
but it's
just
right. You
looked
beat me.
It doesn't matter. You won the damn thing, and you were still down almost a G.
Yeah,
A
that shit can
1,000.
outbid
No,
us
'cause
all.
I just looked at my last email and I bet 85 on a parlay that was never going to hit, and I was down 1,000 even.
Nice.
Got it.
All right. So what you got to start this season off?
All right, gentlemen, it's the best time of the year. We're all even,
Yeah,
and
we are.
we're all going to have a banner year this year, right? We're going to be in the black by the end of the year, right?
All of us will be
how,
in the black. Yeah, and we'll actually have a
All of-
proper.
that's right. I love the positivity.
We all know
All
how to
right.
bet. Amazing. We're all really good bettors. Like Mel's a good cold reader. We're like the best readers, bettors ever. We're gonna do it.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to start the season off with 3 $100 games. So I'm going to bet $100 on each, just to be clear. So I'm going to take Fulham over Brentford at home for plus 165. I'm going to take Manchester United over Tottenham for plus 123. And I'm going to take Aston Villa at home over Everton for minus 162. So if I win all three, I'll win 350. But I'm just looking to make, hit 2 out of 3 would be nice. Would be perfect. So that's it. That's it.
Not good gambling.
Yeah, especially because 2 out of 3 isn't perfect. 3 out of 3 is perfect.
No, I'm saying 2 out of 3 will still put me plus money.
The money. I got you. All good.
Meatloaf sang 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah. All right, bro. We'll really appreciate it. We'll catch up with you next week.
All right. Y'all have a good week.
All right, brother. All right, and finally, for what you've all been waiting for, the most quality of quality bets, I'm going for a very conservative for me.
9-way parlay.
3-way parlay. Thank you very much. Forest over Sheffield United, Liverpool over Bournemouth, and Brighton over Wolves at plus 314.
Terrible with money.
This is a sure thing here. Okay, this is a sure bet. And actually, I like doing the fun stuff for the show, and everybody roasts me and everything. That's fine. I got thick skins, no problem. In real gambling this weekend, just want you to know, made $40 on the City game. Had a 3-legged parlay on Saturday, paid me $133 on a $7 bet, $15 bet, sorry. And then a $7 7-leg parlay came in today with Manchester United shit win over Wolves for $188. So I won $360 this weekend, and I'm damn fucking proud of myself. So y'all can suck it.
Mel, you'd be proud to know I didn't bet anything because I just kind of forgot that I had an app that I could fucking bet the matches on. I was like, oh, yeah, I could have bet.
This isn't pre-show anymore, sweet cheeks.
Yeah, I'm not really just,
Oh, good.
Meh.
Nice to know.
Honestly, it's funny since we've gotten on online gambling and being able to do sports betting, I have not really jumped into it. It's just been meh to me.
How does it feel, Mel, to know someone else's husband is bringing home the bacon and yours is sitting there going, meh?
Well, I've been used to the meh for a while.
Mr. Graham, somebody's definitely brought home the bacon this month, and she
I know you had to have heart surgery.
And Princess, you're fully aware of how bills are getting paid, right?
Yeah. Hey, Mark Turner, how you doing?
Well, you know what? I can't be bothered with gambling, much like fantasy sports, but you know who can be bothered with gambling? Kitty the chicken.
Well, Kitty has enjoyed her summer holiday and is back to show you boys how to bet football properly. So this week, I gave Kitty Aston Villa hosting Everton. Now, Kitty quickly showed me a picture of her at the City Open.
It's DC.
As a ball chicken for the final where Dan Evans won the tournament.
She's pretty quick. We've seen her run around quite a bit
She
in the
almost
backyard.
won the Beakness that year.
Yeah, fast one.
Now, we already know Her Highness Lindsay was there to see Dan's victory, but and both are massive Villa supporters.
Mm-hmm.
Coupled with Kitty's disdain for Everton.
She does not like her some Everton, that's for
And
damn
so
sure.
it's obvious that Kitty is picking Villa to win. And you know what else is obvious?
What else?
That all of your listeners needs to learn how to gamble legally and responsibly.
Very good. I love it.
It's no sound cue to press now. It
well,
feels weird.
I know. I was going to say you hit a sound cue incorrectly and then that you're going to edit out in post. I know, but it makes me just kind of go.
I love calling her mistakes out as the best. It's so much fucking fun.
I do hours
there and
of
squirms,
production.
yeah.
Hours of graphic design, hours of press releases, and behind the scenes. I missed 3 buttons.
She's going to have a list of names, and it's going to be, the name of the show is going to be called Edited in Post. That's for damn sure.
It wasn't, but now it is.
Oh, man.
You can just edit that out and pick one of the other ones.
Alrighty, that is going to wrap it up. Mr. Graham, any parting words?
Yeah, so there's 2 other people I wanted to call out. And also, again, I'll say this as a first show of the new season. If you don't know what this segment is, this is how we close the show. These are our D-backs, or in other terms, our don't be a cunts. Mm-hmm. We are of the feeling that as long as you wake up every day with the sole purpose of not being a cunt, usually everything turns out okay for you. So just
we have a mascot too. If you're watching live,
Yeah.
This is the D-back bear back here.
Racists, homophobes, all that kind of stuff. The list goes on. Just don't be cunts. That's it. So,
We understand the severity of the word, but those people need to be called that word because that's what they are.
So we usually use the acronym DBAC, so we don't have to say the C word a ton, because we know that does offend some people as well. But the gravity of what we're dealing with, we usually, that it's warranted. Anyway, the first one, because I forgot to make the joke, and I just want to make the joke, so he's going to be one. The defender, Zarori, from Burnley that saw the red card made an ass of himself.
Yes.
His first name's an ass.
An ass.
Yep,
Yes.
there you go. So letting his team down, obviously. Thank you.
Dad
that
jokes
was
are strong.
Worth the whole thing there. That whole build up. The real one though, seriously, is the guy. A couple of guys actually on the old thread competition X Twitter.
Yep.
Twixter.
Call it whatever you want. I just need you to settle on a name and not have this rambling 20-second thing of what you're going to call it.
Can't. Because when you have a household name like Kleenex and then you decide to change the name of your fucking company, it's just ridiculous and it needs to be called out for how stupid it is. So, old Musketeer, I hope you're listening. Call it Twitter again, please.
He
It's starting
should
to piss me
just
off.
call it me because that's me,
Yeah.
me.
Hey, speaking of which, we do have a T-shirt called "It's All About Me" on the DU Drip Shack.
Ironically, about the co-host across the way from me.
Well, I bring the funny. So there was one man on Twitter that spouted a bunch of anti, I guess you'd call it Brexit stuff, since technically he's foreign.
Right.
Well, I mean, not technically, he is foreign. He's French. He's not English.
Right.
But it was some essentially anti-French things in Mopé's direction after missing a couple of opportunities in that game. And then the guy on Twitter, the other one, the second bloke that I saw, that tweeted at Neil Mopé that he hopes his mom's dead and in the grave.
Ew.
And as people that have lost parents, it's pretty fucked to wish that on somebody. That sucks. So don't do that.
Then there were a handful of fans. Mr. Williams of the American Toffee Pod had to deal with it today because someone had said clearly Neil Mopé made up this tweet and photoshopped everything to get everybody to not pay attention to the bad performance he had on the field. And
This is straight gaslighting.
and Ryan's
ridiculous.
defending. He's like, seriously, this is the fucking person you want to be. This is how you want people to think of you. And then he just, like, much like my Leighton Baines hot take, got annihilated by like fucking 500 fucking people.
Who,
that just-
Ryan did?
Yeah, that just wanted to lay into him for his opinion of no, he didn't make it up. Someone said something derogatory about his mother. Fuck you, D-back. Like,
Regrettably, I'm going to have to defend Ryan here. Anybody that does listen to the show for any length of time know we have a running feud. So regrettably, I'm going to have to take his side here.
funny, Mr. I Bring the Funny has like 10 running feuds, and I get along with everybody.
Just get a life.
Right.
Just get a life. Over the last like 8 years, or so, yelling fake news is starting to get a bit old. Mm-hmm. Stop. It's fucking ridiculous. There, a lot of journalists have a code. A lot of people have, codes. I don't think this is a Julian Smollett instance here. It was a screenshot, and you could clearly see it was a screenshot. All of the commands on the Twitter box was in French. He is French. That's a lot of work to put in to fake something, especially when the culture of the club has been like what happened to with what's her name? Excuse me, the board member that claimed she got put in a headlock.
Yeah.
Like when that's happened to you as a fan base, for you to then turn around and project that onto somebody else, that's like cheering for the rapist. It's like, what are you doing?
Horrible. It's
it
horrible.
makes no fucking sense, man.
It's so fucking horrible. And
It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. And I'll say it again: get a fucking life, you idiot.
yeah, just
Like it's ridiculous. It's just absurd.
D-back. Just fucking D-back. It's not that hard, man. Not that fucking hard. Wake up in the morning. Don't be a bad human being. Don't wish somebody's mother to die.
Yeah.
because you would be screaming bloody murder if somebody wished
And
your
don't
mom to die.
defend the guy that did it.
Yeah, and then don't defend him. Like,
Don't double down.
There was like a bevy of people that were like, well, he's not wrong. Like, no, he's wrong. I mean, Jesus, Everton fan base. There's a lot of people that want to see us go down. And we're not helping them by just being a bunch of fucking assholes to boot. Like, fucking stop it, guys. Like, seriously.
100%. And I will finish with, real quick, resume normal business. Ryan, go fuck yourself.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Injury Time is up next, where we're going to talk fantasy. We're going to talk check in on the Ibs, our adopted club, and we're going to preview the weekend's matches. Sam, how does one find Injury Time?
Absolutely. It's patreon.com/DU Football Show. Sign up to that one glorious $5 tier, and that will get you all the extra content. As Sam said, you get Sound Check, which is our actual sound check. We just catch up from the weekend while Mel checks our levels, and you get an insight kind of into our lives and that kind of stuff, and popular news stories from outside of football in a lot of cases that we just talk about stuff, memes we've seen, shit like that. And what we've been up to in our personal lives. And then Injury Time, which we check out on the Ibs, Hibernian up in Edinburgh.
Just what I just said.
No, yeah.
You don't need to repeat it.
Up in Edinburgh, because they are a bunch of heroin addicts and we love them.
That's why I told the Scotsman, I said, our adopted club in Scotland is Iberian, and he said, why? I said,
Train Spotting.
I said, honestly, because all the heroin addicts in Train Spotting supported him. So we were like, fuck it, let's support them. And he looked me right in the face. He said, good enough excuse as any. I was like,
yeah, exactly.
Fucking right on.
That right back to the point about David Moyes not wanting to play the ball.
Please, if you'd like to support the show beyond Patreon, we also have our DU Drip Shack. You can find that on all of our social media. It's on our link tree, and it's pinned to everywhere. We got a lot of fun shirts.
Yep, and it's actually just dudripshack.com. It's pretty easy to remember.
And if you want to hang with us on the live feed tonight, we have DU Does EFL.
That's
show.
right. That's why we got rid of Championship Corner. We launched a new show where we go through some highlights of the EFL. So that's a lot of fun. I personally wanted DU Does the 72.
I like DU Does EFL.
But like usual, I get overruled.
It's not DU Does the EFL, because Debbie did not do the Dallas. Debbie simply did Dallas. And that's how it's supposed to be, my friend. It's exactly how it's supposed to be.
Diamond Dallas Page?
No.
It's been a very wrestling heavy show.
Till next week, everybody.
I want dinosaur kale and soup next time.
Oh, hey there. How you all doing? Welcome back. We got show number 301 to do now that we got fucking 300 out of the way.
Yeah, no shit.
You guys don't want to know what was happening when the cameras weren't on. I believe the word was their stickage.
I barely got my top back on.
I mean, you should settle down. That's going to be my open for the next fucking show, woman.
All right, ready when you are.
Things women just don't understand. There's stickage. Stickage is for real. Stickage is a real fucking deal.
You know what we used to call it?
What's that?
Bat winging.
Yeah. You know, it just happens, and you got to fix it, and there's, you just got to grab at it. And,
Just gotta do what you gotta do.
Put it where it needs to be and get it straight, and then you'll be fine. And also, as a gentleman of larger carriage, there's some weight issues as well. You got to watch out with that. You could pinch something. That might hurt a lot.
Fucking hell.
Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Snub the Malort. Look straight in shorts. Sam Prem.
Sam Graham.
Drunkard United! Drunkard United!
It's like a giant missile silo floating through the air there at the very end with two very disappointed eyes.
It's your birthday today.
It is her birthday today. Hello and welcome to DU Does EFL Show, a completely biased, brief recap of the English Football League as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston. Across the way from me, knee deep in his phone, trying to catch up on what he's going to fucking say for this, my co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham.
Hey, guys. I'm just trying to figure out where this... Oh, they put ads into ESPN now.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I didn't even see the game we're going to lead off with listed.
So
and I
why
was like,
did-
when did this happen?
So why do you give $5.99 for them to put ads and everything, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Fucking absurd.
Right.
Like, Disney doesn't have enough money already.
And producer Mel on the ones and twos. How you doing there, producer Mel?
I'm good. We're just doing live production here, aren't we?
Yeah, pretty
Why the
much.
fuck not?
Yeah.
I do have my lovely sound cue to press when you're ready to actually talk about the fallen teams.
Oh, you mean that one?
Championship corner.
I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh no!
Leeds edition. It's like,
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can find us wherever you get your podcast and watch us live every Monday night, like right fucking now. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
absolutely. It's at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via it.
You know why I did that, producer Mel, right?
Why?
Because you specifically did not look at the sheet, so I decided to fuck with you and make your production sound all out of place.
I'm fine with that.
It's a good sounder, though. We can't not use it.
Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for everything.
Stop. We're drinking the same fucking thing again. It's the same night. We just
Yes.
ended the other show 10 minutes ago.
Had all the beers from Middle James Brewing. I'm also drinking an Ice House as always. Big old deuce.
I got a Pacifico on the side. It's my side piece.
No, we got nothing to talk about then on injury time.
My side piece right there.
Well, you need to chase your beer with beer, right? I mean, that's
right.
just kind of how it works. All right, well then, fuck it. Let's get right into it. Starting off with the championship. If you want to hit that cue again, go right ahead, Mel.
Championship corner.
I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh no!
By the way, I'm looking at your notes. I know we're in here. Does it say any sound cue? So
No,
I'm fine.
No, you're the one who decided to add the sound cue,
Yeah.
and you just wanted to add it. And but since you weren't paying attention to the format of the show, I just went and said, go ahead and hit it. And a good producer would have been like, well, no, you still haven't done call to action or talk about alcohol yet. So
Have you done both of those things?
Championship corner.
I've fallen going, and I can't get up. Oh, no.
That is a proverbial dick slap to the face.
See, now here's the problem is I'd like to hate it, right? I'd like to be very angry at her, but I love the sweet falsetto tones of one Mr. Whiskey Dick, so I can't get mad at her too much, and we're all going to have to just make sure it gets played when we first talk about the championship. Jumping right off the bat, Southampton and Norwich have a barn, or how do you pronounce it, Mel?
Notch.
Very good. I believe Brent did the same in his getting to know you segment. So
He did.
I like
he
that.
absolutely did.
Paying attention to what we do. A barn burning 4-4 draw.
Let me tell you something. This was end-to-end fucking action the entire game as well. You started off with the first goal from American Josh Sargent in the 7th minute, and you got the final goal from Adam Armstrong in the 90th plus 7.
Mm-hmm.
So there was action all the way peppered throughout. You had Jan Benderek on 17. Adam Armstrong first scored on 21. Gabriel Sara scored on 23. You had one in stoppage time from Norwich from John Rowe of the first half. Then just 12 minutes you had to wait for Che Adams to score into the second. And then the 84th minute, Norwich went 4-3 up, and then Adam Armstrong, as I said before, in stoppage time, late into stoppage time, with the equalizer.
Also,
it's fucking crazy.
Also, a farewell to James Ward-Prowse for Southampton.
My
Has
heart
moved
broke
on
for Kenny.
to Southampton.
You know that?
I moved on to West Ham.
My heart broke for Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
He put up a picture of James Ward-Prowse as a young boy, probably about somewhere between 8 and 10 years old, in his Southampton academy uniform. And then a picture from obviously last week or maybe end of last season, one of the two. And he said, "Don't cry because it's gone." The caption that he wrote was, "Don't cry because it's gone. Smile because it happened." And it's just like, oh, God. When a club loses their best player, their captain, and it's just like how much he meant to those supporters, almost single-handedly keeping Southampton in the league the year prior.
I mean,
to
Graham,
them going down last season.
If Daryl Green had gone and played for the Cowboys.
I mean, it wouldn't have been that bad. It's not like he went to Pompey.
Right, but still, it's a kick.
Despite, I think, being from Portsmouth, maybe.
Yeah. But it's just, he's a lifelong, he's a lifer. He's been there forever.
Yeah.
It's
been there his entire career, from youth on upward. And, but yeah, even if Daryl Green went to go play for like the Buccaneers, I'd have been pissed. Like, it would have just hurt. It just would have hurt my soul.
It's just like, no, you've always been here.
Oh,
you're from here. Like you're a boy, man. You're my boy, Blue. Like it
was just sad, and I just felt so bad that he had to go through that.
Now I know Smokey lives in his world of everything's doom and gloom, but I actually think it's a perfect fit for them, for West Ham to get Ward-Prowse. I really do.
They need it. Yeah,
absolutely. I really do. And people want to talk about his defending ability. I think he defends perfectly fine. You know, I mean, he's not a defensive midfielder. He's a box to box guy who takes all the fucking free kicks, and also, by the way, happens to be the best in the business ever of fucking doing it.
Yep.
Like statistically,
he's a player that deserves
best.
He also is a player that deserves to be in the Premier League.
Yeah, and he deserves to play in Europe, and that's what West Ham is doing. So
and Southampton themselves have been shit at manager selection, and timing of signings and timing of letting people go, and like he's just had to put up with a lot of shit, and he was the steady Eddie. I worry for them a bit moving forward as a result of that. I don't think they'll go down to League One.
No,
there are a few championship teams that are absolute dog shit. But I don't know that they'll come straight back up now.
Speaking of dog shit, Leeds lost.
I know.
Jesus.
And Jack Harrison is apparently
going to Everton
on his way out.
It's official. He's on a season-long loan at Everton.
Yeah, it's official now.
Happened this afternoon.
Arguably their best player that's still there. And very influential and emotional leader as well. So not off to a great start for Leeds, but same kind of boat as Southampton in terms of their managerial hirings and firings.
Oh, you also have to figure
Bielsa, it hasn't been particularly good.
You also have to figure they're going to lose Tyler Adams after the whole debacle of potentially going to Chelsea and all that weirdness.
Oh, damn it. You know what? I think Tyler Adams, I don't know if Klopp rates him, but like it would have been cool if one of the two clubs, I forgot to say this on the main show, it would have been cool if if Chelsea and Liverpool publicly came out and said, whoever loses this game gets Tyler Adams, whoever wins this game gets Moises Caicedo. And then much like the Arsenal-Manchester United preseason game, because it finished in a draw, we should just go ahead and have penalties to see who gets to sign who.
Just to determine it.
God damn it.
If they miss both of those players, there's a lot wrong.
Oh yeah, big time.
There's going to be a lot wrong in Leeds, and I thought Leeds was going to I was fancying them to figure out a way to get right the back up. I mean, I know we got to wait till September, but this is not a good start.
This coaching carousel's not great that they've had in the last 60 days essentially of not actual calendar days, but in terms of the footballing calendar. If season ends week, whatever, and then following week you class is the start of the season. This managerial merry-go-round that they had in those last 6-8 weeks of the Premier League, it just doesn't bode well, and I can see why people maybe not want to join them. So I'm not quite sure.
Not a good start
for them. I don't think they'll go down. They still have some decent pieces. But it's not a good start.
And Birmingham City's not in a good way either. No, just not a good start. Now, who's off to a great start? And this is not going to please the other half of the old farm is Norwich, is Ipswich. 2-0 and a League Cup fucking victory.
Yeah.
Ipswich on fucking fire. And
they
were down in League One.
They are off to a fucking barn burner of a start. Almost as good as my gambling heater this weekend.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, Sunday night's poker night. I was sitting there bullshitting. It was just me, Dave, and his cousin Brian on the Zoom talking shit. And Brian we were talking about horse racing. And I was like, oh, I got FanDuel TV on the old YouTube TV. Let me turn that on. There's usually some nightcaps. $150 on that.
You just on fire on the
I'm on a
betting.
heater. I almost went to the casino last night. I was like, fuck it, let's ride the wave.
How did the poker night go?
Oh, no, I got my ass kicked.
There you go.
That was not great.
There's some balance in the universe.
Yeah, I think I finished in 7th or something, and we only had 10. I think I was 3rd or 4th out. Yeah, 3rd or 4th out. Wasn't great.
So a couple other notable ones is Sunderland Wednesday, Sheffield Wednesday, Huddersfield, and Middlesbrough all start the season with their second loss, and Middlesbrough finds themselves at the bottom of the fucking table.
Middlesbrough were ones that came into the season having a decent kind of expectation.
People were fancying them to flat out win the championship, and that's not a good start.
This has not gone to plan so far, and I'm very surprised. I think the Warlock may just want to finally retire, so he's doing everything he can to just get canned.
Well, Huddersfield
he can't physically bring himself to walk away.
Huddersfield, we expected them to start off poorly, because they finished not so great. I mean, they
also didn't have the easiest opening couple fixtures either. I mean, this is a Premier League team in Leicester that they lost 1-0 to. So by all accounts, I mean, they had to have given at least a decent account of themselves. They had 31% of the ball. They did have 13 shots though, 3 on target. I mean, they. You'd like to see it be a little bit.
But then you say
more
Huddersfield, people were high on Wednesday for the way they got promoted.
Was it 420 or something?
I'm sorry.
On Wednesday?
Yes, exactly. The way they got promoted, and you thought that I get what you're doing.
It's a calendar joke.
Yes, exactly. They were
literally make a joke about anything.
They were very hyped to win, and so far Plymouth Argyle looking really good as a promoted side. Them not so much. And then couple that with Sunderland was a team who got themselves into the playoff right at the end of the season, and I think people are starting to fancy that Sunderland might be finally ready to do that Leeds, and while going all the way down to League One, figuring it out, and finally getting back to the Prem, because they have a mammoth stadium. They have the kind of grounds that is meant to be in the Prem.
They used to share responsibility with Old Trafford for FA Cup semifinals, while was being rebuilt. While Wembley was being rebuilt.
Yeah.
Now the final would always take place at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff.
Right.
But Old Trafford, Villa Park hosted a few, another good proper stadium. But the Stadium of Light hosted a few of those, hosted England games as well when England didn't have a home because of Wembley being rebuilt. It's a massive, massive stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, and and the other thing
I like that we don't have a national stadium.
Yeah, it is a good thing.
I liked the period of time when, I mean, I never went, of course, because I don't care that much. I care obviously well more about my club, but I kind of thought it was cool, and I've heard English people say this, that it was kind of cool that the England team toured around.
Right, and didn't just play at Wembley.
Even though, like, if you're an England fan and you live in Newcastle, right, if you care enough, and you wanted to go down for a game, yes, it's about a 4-hour train journey. So not the end of the world. However, it's still a long old slog if you're trying to do it in a day.
Yeah.
And
it's an expense.
Well, now, obviously, for, in that same instance, the same example, the Stadium of Light, that'd be kind of sucks because that's your most bitter rival. You'd have to go watch in their stadium. Mm-hmm. But it's a 35-minute drive.
Right.
Nothing.
It's not that hard.
2 train stops away.
Yeah.
Easy. And I think it reconnected a lot of people, especially in the outskirts of the country where, Scouse not English in terms of the Liverpool people. It kind of reconnected the England team with parts of the country that don't feel very English. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's one thing that the U.S. holds is that our national team tours around constantly. And it's lovely, but that was a whole side point. I'm sorry, but
no worries. Let's go ahead and move.
Yeah, Sunderland is hugely disappointing start to the season because of exactly that. They were in the playoffs. They, that people had high hopes, and that's
Dead Man Middlesbrough. Like these are 2 teams that we're expecting to potentially win the fucking league.
Yeah,
and not a good start.
0-2 is not a good way to be.
Moving on
according to Pat, though, it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on to League One, the funniest story of all, because just Ben can't have anything nice out there in Aki, is Wigan are 2-0. They have 2 wins. Problem is, 8-point deduction. They're bottom of the table at -2 points.
No shit.
The most Wigan thing ever.
It's ridiculous. It is.
Good. But here's the good news for them. You're getting that point deduction out of the way right quick. You start off fucking hot.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, because that could also, if you had started 0-2, and you're suddenly
you're back against the wall,
14 points behind everyone.
Exactly.
So good for them in that regards. It's a funny nod to look at, and at some point Wigan has to figure out how they're going to live in a world where they are probably a really good League One side and a very bad championship side. They're going to be that proverbial
for a long time
yo-yo team, and not overspend. And not overspend. But that's the big thing. Historically fuck up and overspend.
That's the big thing with the owners is they have to not throw everything at making the Premier League. They have to just kind of be okay until they're an established championship side again. They cannot do that, or they will find themselves foul of financial fair play regulations, another point deduction, and potentially going down. And sad to say, when that starts to happen and those owners, those rich people start to fucking spiral, usually ends up with 115-year institution being fucking liquidated, which you don't want to see that, obviously.
Almost happened to one of the original 12 teams of the fucking Premier League, and we're going to move on to them right now. Bolton get their 2nd win of the season, find themselves top of the table, and we're going to talk about Pompey next, of course, who is our heart team. This is also our heart team. I would love to see Bolton run away with this fucking title, be first place, and just run away with it.
Remember them in their brilliant white, kind of Real Madrid looking uniforms, but in the Premier League at the Reebok Stadium. And I was like, that's a fucking niche brand to have the naming rights to a top flight stadium back in the day.
Exactly.
Better Bolton, obviously known as the Wanderers. I used to call them the Princesses because the Reebok Princess was the most popular shoe in my time, kind of growing up.
Yep.
For the ladies. But and just a weird draw of players. Like JJ fucking Okocha played there.
Yeah.
He was a Manchester United legend. Just an amazing fucking player. Alex Iwobi's uncle.
Yep.
Just amazing. Like, how did they get some of these people? It was fucking wild.
Gary Cahill, before he won titles and won titles, he was
Bolton center back.
Like, and then you Stuart Holden, who was fucking
before they broke his leg, was fucking awesome.
Like,
and you see, Jääskeläinen, one of my intro to kind of Scandinavian goalkeeping, which would play, or at least Northern European, because it kind of put those players on the map for me, because I was too young for Peter Shilton. I hadn't really found football, European football especially, by the time he had retired. But just like, it's just, Wojciech Szczesny from Poland and Lukas Fabianski from Poland and all the German keepers. So these kind of Northern and Central European goalkeepers, like you see Jääskeläinen, he was a cult hero for me. And I didn't even fucking fancy Bolton for real.
Right.
But it's just awesome. I'd love to go see a game there.
Yeah, and again, I'm rooting for them to get back up to the championship. Are they probably a Premier League club? Probably not.
Not anymore. Yeah, I think that ship has sailed.
But
really,
they should be a comfortably right in it fucking championship
12th
side
to 16th.
And they also a team that every once in a while wins and gets promoted and maybe has a good freshman year and has a bad sophomore year. But you're just like, it's a club you kind of want to fucking see do well, you know? And speaking of good old time clubs, this is one that makes you both happy and sad
at the same time.
Yeah, because Pompey won 4-0. That's awesome. But they beat the O's.
I know. And Leyton Orient, famously, everybody's second team.
Everybody's second team because everybody knows them because they have open corners and like literally you just sit in the corners in people's apartments and drink beers and watch the O's play in London. It's
I would
kind of like
fucking love to go to a Leyton Orient game.
The O's, their stadium is kind of like the hipster stadium to go to. It's where you go and you drink. It's like going to watch cricket. We're just gonna get really drunk. What happened? Don't know. It doesn't matter.
The other thing I find strange about cricket, since you brought it up, is people go in fancy dress. They go in costumes and shit. It's so weird. Like, I would never show up at a sporting event in a fucking like Mickey Mouse outfit.
Yeah, just odd. Mel's looking at us weird.
I feel targeted. All the women that dressed like Barbies went to the movie.
That's fine, but that's a specific thing. Like, Mickey Mouse has nothing to do with fucking cricket, is my point.
Oh, fair enough.
Like, that, it's strange. It's like a weird... Any sport also, the one thing I number one, don't understand the scoring system. That annoys me. And if you can't understand the scoring, what the fuck is the point of the sport? Right? It's one of the only sports that I really don't like watching. Because of that, because I don't know, it just happened. But then the other bit that really pisses me off about cricket is any sport that you need a break to have fucking lunch, I'm out.
Okay, well, here's what you need to know.
Time for that.
Wear a stylish sport coat and drink Pim's Cup. Who gives a shit what else fucking happens?
Well, but that's why everybody gets fucked up. It's just like, I don't even know what's happening out there.
Yeah, just drink a bunch of Pim's cocktail. It's fucking great, man.
Yeah.
It's a low ABV, man. You drink like 5 bottles of Pim's while you're out there. It's awesome.
Why is it also that the English tend to invent sports and then become like not the best at them?
Yeah, they definitely like to do that.
The Indians, the Australians, the Sri Lankans, the South Africans, all very good at cricket.
Yep.
The French, the Italians, all very good at rugby.
You know, unlike the Scotsmen who are like, famously the English are a bunch of wankers, but we were colonized by a bunch of wankers. All of those who got colonized went, oh, okay, you're going to teach us your sport? Fine, fuck you, we're going to beat you. It's going to be our own little just silent fuck you. We're just going to kick your ass in the sport.
Strange.
Barnsley draw Joey Barton's Bristol Rovers 1-1.
So that caught them some flack.
Oh, yeah. I still think Barnsley's going to be right up in it and probably get an automatic promotion. And I can't say this much about the Bristol Rovers.
I'm going to go ahead and say that's worse, Mel.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
What happened?
She changed my camera on her end, but I had to give it permission, which is why I had to touch the screen.
Oh,
and then it went wide angle, so you could see the chair in the box in the corner, full view.
Not going to work. That's not going to work out very well.
I've come to the conclusion what's going on with your camera is not on my end.
I don't touch anything, though. It's really weird.
Oh, we'll have to fuck with it. It'll be fine.
This is my work computer, by the way.
Bristol, we do know that Bristol Rovers are going to be a tough out for everybody. Joey Barton
don't worry,
coaches
I'm attached to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, very good. Now let's go ahead and move on and chat about League Two. Aki unfortunately fell on the road. I said feel on the road, but I meant fell on the road to Gillingham 1-0.
Fucking Gillingham.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Aki always had problems on the road. So
Accrington Stanley, for those of you that are new, are near and dear to our hearts because we are good friends with their groundsman.
Yep.
Actually, we've interviewed him 3 times now.
Why we like him.
Something like that, because he's fucking awesome, and he stays in touch, and he interacts with us, and he's just brilliant.
Ben K's the fucking best.
Also, Accrington Stanley, famously, I refer to them as the Leyton Orient of the North. They're like the Starks.
The fellow Scotsman, I told him we follow Accrington Stanley, and he's like, Accrington Stanley, who's that? And I went, exactly. And he looked right at me and started nodding his head. He was like, you knew the commercial. I'm like, if you know Accrington Stanley, we learned from Ben, you need to know that fucking commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
But, I mean, losing to Gillingham is piss poor, to be honest. Gillingham are not high on my list. Pretty much the reason... I really don't have anything against Gillingham except for a fictional football club podcast that I'd listened to that is now over. Mm-hmm. Their 5 seasons have ended. The Offensive... which was just an awesome, very funny fucking show. Absolutely not safe for work. I mean, cursed every 2 seconds in that show. But it's a fictional football club called Ashwood City, and they were in Kent, and them and Gillingham was their rival. And because I have an affinity for the show, I'm like, fuck Gillingham. In real life, fuck Gillingham.
You decided you hate them.
Yeah.
Wrexham give up a late penalty to draw Wimbledon 1-1.
It's fine. Off the mark. They got a point.
And Wimbledon's one of the teams that recently came down from League One. So.
Yes. Now, Wimbledon are in kind of weird financial straits because they're still paying off the bonds that they had to sell their fans to finance their recent stadium rebuild at Plough Lane. So you would like to think that Wrexham, with the momentum surrounding the club, but it is after losing, is it Paul Mullins in it?
Yeah.
Up front, that is difficult for them to cope with at this stage.
Right.
And they don't have, despite the success of the show and everything else, they don't have a shit ton of money. They've kind of blown their load in
They're
terms
only
of
allowed to
FFP.
spend so much. FFP is still, it's on every level.
Absolutely. And they can't really do, they've already spent a little bit beyond their means, and they haven't really been able to super recruit this summer.
Right.
To deal with these. So they're going to have some of these kind of plucky results that you're not super happy with. Ultimately, I think they'll stay in the league. Yeah. I think they've got enough quality about them, and when he returns, they'll have goals about them as well. Because by all accounts, I'm not super familiar with the player, other than by all accounts, he is a proper League One to bad championship striker.
Yeah,
that will bag you goals at this level.
Yeah, gonna bag you goals.
Yeah, so hopefully, and I mean, I think broke records for the conference.
He did. So, now, moving on, Forest Green get their first win, 1-0 over Harrogate, which is good to see, considering that they just got demoted and they're also in some financial troubles as well.
That's what happens when a vegan club has to start buying meat again, because Big Dunk was around.
And
he just wasn't having that either.
The last one.
I need you to find me a heifer. All right. I'm not eating the fucking grass.
Yeah, that's just how it's going to work. And again, what do you call Duncan Ferguson?
What?
Sir. That is his name.
Yeah.
What do you say to that man? Sir.
Or he goes after you with a bat.
Yeah, exactly. Your bat. He takes your bat from you and beats you with it. Finally, Tranmere lost their second straight match to MK Dons, and MK Dons are currently top of the table of League 2.
Yeah,
not surprising. They're one of the teams that came down from League 1.
Yeah, but there's not a huge amount of investment in the club. They're very much a selling club, MK Dons. So it doesn't surprise me that they found themselves in this position where they got relegated. But, I mean, really, that's the best way to hold on to players is to get relegated, honestly, because, well, that lot aren't very good. We don't want to buy them. So, yeah, it's very much, I think, MK Dons will come back up, but I think they'll find it very difficult again next year because they're not a team that they rely very heavily on their academy, and they don't really recruit players particularly well that I've ever seen.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
but
if they have anyone good, normally they get sold on.
Yeah, that sucks for Tranmere, though. It's not a great start to the season, and you start to worry about the only club in Liverpool.
Thank you. Now, I think it's worth mentioning, since this is more of a league show, let's talk about the League Cup here. is a great place, especially
I thought
because
you wanted to talk about the Johnson's Paint Trophy.
yeah, exactly. We could talk about that too, which is all the lower leagues.
Good luck fucking Googling those results, by the way. That is a pain in the fucking ass on the American internet to find.
I will look up that trophy, that tournament when it gets down to the quarterfinals. That's when I'll talk about it. That's fucking it.
That'll be in like March.
Yeah,
Because that's another one that has like 6 million participants.
Jesus. Notable advancers in the League Cup: Wrexham, Leeds, Bolton, Wednesday, and Reading all advanced. Surprising exits include Millwall and Sunderland from the Championship.
Well, hopefully that'll kind of...
And Millwall's 2-0 in the league. They're doing fine, just that one.
This is where we say stuff like a good cup run can breed confidence.
Sorry, 1-1.
Breed confidence in the team and do all that kind of stuff, right? Sunderland, who have now lost 2 in a row in the Championship and then find themselves out at this early stage, it's just piling more shit onto their confidence. Where
Suddenly those players listen to that coach just a little bit less. Yep. That is
things start to go very wrong. Now, Millwall, I mean, fuck you, I'm Millwall. They'll recover.
Yeah,
they'll be fine.
They'll be fine. They'll be just fine.
Their kind of championship rise over the last couple of seasons into a potential promotion candidate via the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs, but they finished the last 2 seasons better than they did the season prior.
And a couple notable League One sides that went out, Derby County and Barnsley both went out as well.
Right, but what I was going to say was Millwall, remember, that was all amid the quarterfinal FA Cup appearance. That run, that kind of galvanized that squad.
Yeah, exactly.
Derby's been a shit show until...
I don't see Derby getting up to the Championship anytime soon.
Until Wayne Rooney came in and kind of fixed them.
And while he fixed them, there was no money to pay anybody.
Well, right, which further implicated them in all their problems, but gave them essentially the point deduction that relegated them. So, and I haven't heard much of if the ownership has changed, or I haven't heard a lot out of that camp at all, really.
Yeah. Now I want to go ahead and just mention the marquee matchups for the next round, because this is where the Premier League, everybody who's not playing in Europe, so the 13 sides that aren't playing in Europe, so you two do not have matches yet.
Correct.
But we will have one. That now happens. And a few that are worth mentioning, Bolton will be hosting Middlesbrough. You have to imagine Bolton's going to win, because essentially that is what would be like 48th place versus 49th place.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the best team from one league and the worst team from the other.
If you did the full footballing pyramid
So it's not an upset if Bolton wins.
A straight 1-92 is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, a couple of ones worth mentioning as far as Premier League sides. Forest is going to be hosting Burnley, and Fulham will be hosting Spurs.
That's going to be a very interesting game, honestly, Forest and Burnley, because of the way Burnley play, but the cauldron that is the City Ground. It's going to be really interesting to see how Forest cope with Burnley's football, but how Burnley responds to an absolute fucking atmosphere.
Now, another one, the rest
Fulham
of these
Spurs, I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, well, the rest of these are all Premier League sides. Palace has to go to Plymouth, and Plymouth is recently
flying right now,
and recently promoted to the Championship, and that'll be a lot of fun. And if Palace has trouble scoring, Plymouth might get one on them.
Owls are birds of prey. Now, Plymouth Argyle's crest has a boat on it.
Yeah.
They are on the South Coast, but what I would ask, because they're a South Coast club, I am going to just, do owls eat fish, shrimp, or seagulls?
I don't know.
Because if so, Plymouth Argyle could be in a bit of bother. Roy the Boy goes down there hungry.
Yeah, the wise old owl.
Oh, yeah.
Normally they go after like field mice and stuff like that. It's kind of what owls could. They tend to be in the forest.
So they may be safe.
Very good. And then the other two notables, Everton go to League One Doncaster.
I cannot wait until you all get knocked out of the League Cup.
And then League One Wimbledon head to a place that hasn't hosted a second round League Cup game in a very, very long time. Yep. Stamford Bridge, because Chelsea was not one of the teams that made Europe. So they have an early extra game.
I can't wait for Chelsea to be knocked out of the League Cup. I'm very excited.
I'd
love to see Wimbledon go through.
I'll be honest.
That'd be awesome.
On the Everton side of things, I think this is one of those ones where Everton, Dyche will fucking put out a fairly attacking, go at him squad. Because, I mean, we'll talk about an injury time. Everton never wins at Villa Park, so Everton's going to be 0-2 very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think they'll need that League Cup in 2 weeks. They'll need that game very, very badly.
The other thing I would say about Chelsea Wimbledon is I think Pochettino, seriously, not joking around, will look at the League Cup and go, this is a very real chance for me to grab my first trophy in English football.
So I'm going to fucking have a go.
Let's have the kids get used to winning something, and then we can have a proper go with the league next season.
Right. Fair enough.
You know what I mean? I think they'll be formidable, but I think they'll be off the pace. I think Arsenal and City are well and truly above the rest. So I think Chelsea will look at this tournament and go, I think we can have gain some experience for the kids, get a winning mentality, have this sort of, kind of good feeling around the club, guarantees them to get back into Europe so it doesn't matter where they finish.
Right.
And then next season have a proper go at all right, we're going to fucking take the league here, and try to get after it.
Fair. Appreciate that. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up, Mr. Graham. Any parting words?
Not really. No, I think everything's good. There's life outside the Premier League. Everybody remember that. And it's usually a pretty fun fucking watch. There's a lot of things that aren't allowed to happen at Premier League grounds that because of security's tighter, because everything else is going on, sometimes you can't even get to the fucking stadium. Yeah. So the Football League is an excellent, fun, grassroots, amazing thing. And just enjoy it, because what I love, and everybody says this because nobody else's league system is like this, from top to fucking bottom, from top to below the bottom to non-league, these clubs are well supported, well cared about, and fucking make national news from time to time. And it's fucking delightful, because
it's already been fun doing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Perfect. All right. Well,
and it's a lot of familiar faces. It's like a high school reunion, because obviously we have the longest running times in the Premier League. Right. We've never really had to deal with this. And so, but all these old friends that have gone away that we haven't been able to talk about.
Oh yeah.
It's nice to be able to step down and go, I fucking remember Pompey.
I've already loved talking Bolton.
Bolton, yeah, 100%. It's great. Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. And if you've got nothing on, or it's a shit game in the Premier League on the weekend, give ESPN $6 to watch ads and the championship.
Yeah. Well, again, anybody who's got a team that they support in any one of the lower tier of the English professional system, reach out. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear a little bit about your club. And as the season goes on, we're going to talk a little bit about these clubs, of how we used to do, like on the FA Cup with some of these clubs. We're going to talk about them a little bit and learn a little bit about all of these different clubs. And, we'll start to keep a little more closer eye on who's scoring goals and who's doing what, who might move and things of that nature. But just, it's already been a lot of fun to do. And till next week, everybody.
Good night.